Hey everybody, welcome to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. You're here early and we're very proud of you. Man, oh man, you'll hear more about it during the show, but the technical difficulties have been out of this world. So excuse us again for being late. We had such I don't know, man, such plans to be on time today. Well, many of you might know there's a Windows update yesterday, and it completely destroyed everything. And not only was it destroyed, but now that we even have it going, there's some hilarious quirks to what we got going on in the studios today, and you're gonna love it. It's fun. Here's a little hint. Gonz sounds like a troll, just forever. And not to you guys, but just to me. I alone am one individual in the world trying to do a podcast that my co-host sounds like a troll, thanks to Bill Gates and the Windows updates. Okay, well, we're going to get the show started here in just a second. You guys know the drill. Head on over to CanaryCry.Party. That's right. It's the URL, http://CanaryCry.Party. You'll find all the links you need to catch the show and all the different platforms that we stream on, as well as lots of great resources and links to get connected to the community. So go to CanaryCry.Party, sign up for the newsletter. Those of you who are signed up for the newsletter, not only do you get the sources before every single show, but I went ahead and stuck the art in there for you. That's right. You got the art for the show directly in your email box. So you can have it to share, have it to look at, all sorts of good stuff. Okie dokie. Well, that's about it. We're going to get started right now.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is June 8th, 2022, and we are live to tape, baby, on episode 494. And today, so SADS. That's right. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. Straight out of California, 3 hours late from planned airtime, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are. And folks, you might not notice this. We'll talk about it further later on in the show. But we are late today. We had such good plans to start on time. But we're glad you're here. We're here, and of course, you podcast listeners, you get to listen whenever you want. So that's awesome. And just know, we'll explain this later. Just know that the Lord has blessed you with not having my voice and or Gonz's voice pitch shifted to sound like a troll, which is exactly what I hear right now when Gonz speaks. But we'll talk more about that later, folks. I want to give you a little bit of a rundown about what to expect for today's show. That's right. In our lead segment, we're going to be talking about some 666 Illuminati going on over there in India. Ukraine update. A 15-year-old is the new hero of Ukraine. And, of course, Russia putting out some more scary propaganda on the ground where the nuclear apocalypse, what to expect. FLIPPY is going to be stopping by. We'll be checking in on the social engineering in regards to robot arms. Of course, we've got a number of stories on gun control, many updates there that should be of interest to anybody who, believes that the Constitution is a good way to, a good framework for how to run a country. We're going to be checking in with the beast system, Apple's new updates to biometrics, the World Bank's warnings about stagflation, etc., etc. And then, of course, once we say goodbye to the YouTube audience, got some updates on COVID and some new cancer treatments that may be of interest. And then when we're having fun at the end of the show, of course, NASA is launching some priority plans to investigate the mysteries of the moon. And Antarctica, another awesome update, some signaling from the elites going on there. So stick around. But first, we're going to start out with some lead stories.
660.
So last episode fell on June 6th of 2002. I pointed out how, that's 666 if you add up the 2022. And we weren't the only ones signaling. Actually, we didn't signal, really. I just pointed it out. But, yeah, it says here in IndiaTimes.com, Mahesh Bhatt and Yo-Yo Honey Singh announce web series Illuminati. And it has a 666 connection. I mean,
no way.
Yeah, it's a web series called Illuminati from India. Hang on one second.
Okay. Oh, we've got Cody again in the World
Cody,
Eater.
I'm yelling at my daughter. They're all laying around, and there's a drum kit over there. I mean, it's just a disaster, but it's okay because
you have a drum kit. You have a toddler and a drum kit in the same room.
Yes,
you're trying to record a podcast.
Yeah,
these are the type. Some problems in life, folks, are handed to us by forces outside of our control. But, the best problems are the ones we create ourselves.
Yeah, it's right when we go live is when the kid starts hitting the drums and the dog starts clawing at your leg. And it's good times.
How could they resist?
So IndiaTimes.com.
Okay, tell us about Illuminati.
Yeah, it says here, the number 666 is considered to be the number of the beast in Christian eschatology. It is said to represent a diabolical number and is often represented as the sum of all evil. 666 has been used in many different ways throughout history. In Christianity, 666 is often associated with Satan or the Antichrist due to biblical references that state he will have this number on his head or forehead when he comes to power. It's not exactly what the Bible says, but, it's India Times, so I'm not going to really hold them, too hard. But
nice
nevertheless, Mahesh Bhatt and Yo-Yo Honey Singh do not believe... Oh, I just lost my spot. These browsers. Yeah, okay. But nevertheless...
Do not believe in this.
Mahesh Bhatt and Yo-Yo Honey Singh do not believe in this and have purposely chosen 6 p.m. time and 6/6/2022 as the date of the announcement for their upcoming project titled Illuminati. The timing of the Illuminati announcement was deliberate. The show's creators hope to capture the moment. They hope to capture the moment, Basil. It's a ritual, you see. And you watch this trailer. I'll play it for the people watching, I guess. It's really not that interesting. It's 33 seconds long, the trailer. And it looks like a low budget Fiverr job. It's got the makers of the thing and then just a couple texts that's an all-seeing eye. It's not that great. I continue on with the article.
All kind of done in the style. It's kind of a mix of style between the artwork, the flourishes that you find on the dollar bill, the green sort of floral things, but of course you've got lots of symbology, the eye of providence, things like that.
When asked about their vision, Rajdeep Meyer stated, quote, Illuminati web series is an emotion for us. We strongly believe and have faith in the subject and its narrative. They believe and have faith in the subject and its narrative. There has been a lot of curiosity over the years, and it's high time people should know the real side of it. Who better than Yo-Yo Honey Singh? That's when I told my partner Vinay, and today we have been able to finally get it to announce with the right association. I think there's a little bit lost in translation there, but...
yeah, there's a little bit there.
Yeah. He went on to say 6:66 p.m. is the chosen time to announce the series in 2022 and hoping it will clear the air and the truth shall unravel. Yo-Yo Honey Singh is loved worldwide. They're already creating intrigue. And then this last part here, Illuminati is a phenomenon that people have misconstrued and misunderstood always. This is still a quote. And I genuinely feel the wrong perception of the cult needs to be put forth in the right perspective. Who better than the man himself, Yo-Yo Honey Singh? I don't know. They really love this Yo-Yo Honey Singh guy.
Yeah, apparently he's a very popular fella.
About this all-seeing eye of providence. But yeah, I just find it interesting that in India, I don't know. And there's a picture of, I believe it's these, the gentleman producing the show, and one of them is holding a thumbs up, and the other guy with the chains is doing the two-hand triangle, touching the thumb and the index finger. The
50 cent, triangle thingy.
Yeah, so
Beyonce did it too. Yeah, it sounds like that they're trying to do like a pro-Illuminati narrative. Like the Illuminati are the good guys.
Right. They need to set things right. And who better than Yo-Yo Singh Ma, or what was his name?
Yo-Yo Honey Singh.
Yo-Yo Honey Singh, yeah.
Who is this guy? Do you know who he is?
I don't know. He's Yo-Yo Honey Singh.
Okay. All right. We should look into who this is. I'm assuming that he's some sort of, Bollywood famous person.
There's a little bio about him down here if you want to get into it. Hold on. Where was it?
Well, I'm just curious. They're making such a big deal about this guy.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I thought there was more.
Yeah, I'm pulling up his Wikipedia here. So, yes. Let's see here. Hardesh Singh, born whenever, known professionally as Yo-Yo Honey Singh or simply Honey Singh, is an Indian music producer, composer, rapper, pop singer, lyricist, and a film actor. He started out in 2003 as a session recording artist and became Bhangra and hip-hop music producer. Later, he became successful with his own songs and started making songs for Bollywood films. Yeah, so he's like a famous Bollywood musician guy.
There you go.
And his image over here on Wikipedia, he's doing the OK sign, the 666 hand signal, right there on his Wikipedia picture. So
there you go.
Yeah, seems like he's a total pro-Illuminati fella.
Yeah. Well, they got to set things right, which is interesting when it comes to rituals, transparency, letting everybody know what the deal is. It's been pretty public already if you look at mainstream entertainment in general, but I guess we're going to have a little bit more official doctrine, I guess, laid out for the masses. So
yeah, when does it? Do we know when it airs? Is this something that we'll be able to view?
That's the funny thing. This is an announcement of an announcement, kind of. They're not really. They're announcing a show on 666.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's great. When is the show? We don't know. It's just we're announcing the show exists.
666 is the chosen time to announce the series in 2022, and hoping it will clear the air and the truth shall unravel.
Yeah, nothing about when it'll air, just about how it's going to peddle truth to the masses.
The process of the unraveling of the truth began, last show day, I guess, Monday. All right, well, good.
There you go.
Just keep an eye out, folks. This was apparently important enough to put at the top of the show, so make sure to keep your eyes open.
It's date related, and of course, there's a show called Illuminati announcing their existence on 666, and it's timely.
Well, speaking of which, let's check in on Ukraine.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
Drone strikes have saved lives.
Can we shoot them down if over our property?
Drones.
Among the stories we've been having recently, folks, about the U.S. sending over missile systems, rocket systems, et cetera, there's also been talk about sending Reaper drones, which we've talked about, which can be equipped with Hellfire missiles. And so drones are a big topic of conversation as far as Ukraine goes. But, not everybody's quite sold yet. So we got to get some propaganda in there to get everybody on board. And this is coming from metro.co.uk, which just has quite the extravagant Pride Month logo change here. Okay. And the headline is "Schoolboy nicknamed Hero of Ukraine held off Russian tanks using a toy drone. Ooh, okay. We've got another hero of Ukraine. Of course, part of the narrative, the propaganda narrative that's been going on throughout the conflict, are these sort of folklore hero sort of fairy tales that have been propping up. You know, we had the ghost of Kyiv, and there's some grandma who got some fame for being a war hero. But now we got a kid with a toy drone. A 15-year-old boy who flies drones as a hobby helped to prevent Russian soldiers from overrunning Kyiv. Andriy Pokrasa has revealed his role. He's revealed his role in the defense of the capital after being hailed a real hero, a hero of Ukraine by the military. Despite soldiers trying to track the position of a column of troops and tanks heading for the capital, did not have access to a drone in the early days of the invasion, his father got in touch with local defenders to tell them his son was skilled at flying one, had bought his own as a pastime, and might be able to help. Not long after, the schoolboy, more used to skateboarding than military reconnaissance, helped direct strikes against the convoy. The teenager told Global News, quote, "They provided us information where approximately the Russian column would be. Quote, our goal was to find the exact coordinates and provide the coordinates to the soldiers." Quote continues, "It was one of the biggest columns that was moving on the Zaitomir Road, and we managed to find it because one of the trucks turned on its lights for a long time." Okay. Ukrainian soldiers targeted the column and were eventually able to stop the march on Kyiv altogether. Commercially available drones have become a core part of the Ukrainian military strategy, as well as more advanced models developed by arms manufacturers. And it goes on. There's an interesting commentary here. Taras Troyak, a former retailer, founded a Facebook group to coordinate drone owners in Ukraine who wanted to turn their hobby into a surveillance tool for the army. He told the Canadian outlet, quote, "If we didn't have such operators and drones who could help the Ukrainian army, I think Kyiv could be occupied by Russian forces. The Ukrainian army has relied heavily on the Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drone, buying dozens in the build-up to the conflict. They have been central," and it goes on to those Turkish drones there. So I find this fascinating because much like the conversation with the long-range rocket systems that have really just put the whole world on edge, pushing Putin into a defensive position, again, threatening nuclear war if these rockets were targeting Russian territory. And then, of course, Steve mentioned, yeah, we are going to shoot it at Russian territory. What are you going to do? But these drones, handing over full-scale military drones, has been in the works and I'm sure will happen, which would give Ukraine just a massive advantage over their current situation. But I feel like this talk of, hey, even a 15-year-old with a drone possibly saved Kyiv altogether. Think of what we could do with some real military drones. This idea that a child was sort of conscripted into military, as 15-year-old conscripted into military service, speaks volumes as to, their Ukraine's willingness to sort of fold anybody into their military that's willing to do so, which has been a strategy from the beginning. Remember, our first aid packages of weapons literally just dropped crates of guns on the street, and people were anybody could walk up and take a gun to help defend Ukraine, which, how could that possibly backfire in the future? That's going to be fine. But now the sort of narrative building that even a child, we need the drones because even a child armed with a drone saved the entire city, is just a beautiful piece of narrative crafting to further justify sending over offensive warfare weapons, basically to fight our proxy war with Russia there. So that'll turn out nice, don't you think?
Well, remember General Milley's talk that we covered a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
This sort of speaks to that urban warfare. Just anybody can tactically use the technology to benefit a particular group or region or whatever. I think you're right. It justifies all that stuff, but it's always interesting when you're creating heroes out of younger people. I'm always sort of interested and curious.
The world loves that. It's very inspiring. And more than anything, it's inspiring to the whole generation of young people.
Right.
If you have an example of,
Greta.
This 15-year-old well, good point. Yeah, Greta being a great example of that. And this being a sort of a different style than Greta, not so much just sort of an eco-warrior, but an actual military participation by a 15-year-old.
It's like a movie.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely is. And in the context of Ukraine, which is, putting civilians to work in battle, basically, on a daily basis to defend their country, this is very inspiring to a whole generation of teenagers now who, teen boys, they're not the hardest group to convince to go join the army.
Go to military things.
No, it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a 15-year-old who, maybe you're kind of lonely, don't have a lot of friends, so you get into drones and suddenly you're a hero?
No, this is the kind of daydreaming that I would do at age 14, 15. Just having some kind of larger purpose come to, just happens to be put in front of you, and you come through and you're a hero. And yeah, of course.
And in the context of, the following years and decade of Ukraine, which may, this conflict may go on for a decade. It's very possible.
Easily, yeah.
This kid may be grafted in as, you could become the Ukraine's general of autonomous drone warfare.
Yeah, he can be the guy who controls all the large hive of drones, killer drones.
Yes,
he's like, look, he's so responsible. He helped save Ukraine once. He'll do it again. Give him the mind control chip with the drone hives. Yeah.
That's right. Put him in his little pod and let him, control the whole swarm.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's just very, fun. If I was that 15-year-old, I could see that being very fun, but also on the meta narrative, the propaganda of the war and the use of drones and the, again, further military industrial complex intertwining itself within the conflict. This is going to be very useful and overall problematic for U.S. taxpayers.
Yeah. All right. Well, close by here, we got one from Ukraine. We're gonna do one from Russia.
Russia. You don't know what you're looking at.
What's driving that thing? It's not a space alien.
Aliens. It's unidentified.
Yeah, you thought Ukraine hanging out with drones is advanced in sci-fi. You got nothing on Russia. This is Newsweek. Headline: Russian state TV warns of nuclear war that only mutants will survive.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I saw the video here. It's all in Russian, so it's not really worth playing. But the article itself does a decent job of summarizing. So here, yes, right, yes.
Oh, we got a baby. We got a baby on the show. Newsweek. Russian state TV warns of nuclear war that only mutants will survive. Russian state TV personality Vladimir Solovyov has warned that if NATO keeps supporting Ukraine in President Vladimir Putin's war, there will be a, quote, massive nuclear strike that will see only mutants survive. The Kremlin and senior Russian officials have said Russia will not use nuclear weapons in Ukraine, even as rhetoric around their possible use has been growing. Okay, so we already know this. We know that they've said they don't want to use it in Ukraine, but they have warned against using them on decision-making centers in the West. So cool. Solovyov who has close ties with Putin and has been called Putin's voice, was speaking on Russia One and was referring to individual member states of NATO sending weapons to Ukraine amid the ongoing war. Since Putin launched what he calls a, quote, special military operation in Ukraine on February 24th, individual NATO countries have sent weapons to Kyiv, including high-tech arms, anti-aircraft, anti-tank weapons, as well as medical supplies and equipment. The military alliance as a whole, however, has not sent troops or weapons to the war-torn country. That's interesting. The military alliance as a whole. Seems like a very specific distinction they're making, saying, the individual countries such as the UK and the US have sent weapons, but NATO as a cohesive alliance has not done the sending of the weapons or the troops. However, there was the NATO Defense Corps that was activated for the first time.
Yeah.
I guess that was stationed in Poland, if I remember correctly. I might be a little off on my geography there, but I don't believe that was actually sent into the country.
Yeah.
Solovyov said that the world is,
can I take it from here?
Yeah, can I finish this one part?
Yeah.
Descending into bloody pages of world history, that part?
Well, all of it. Go ahead. Just do it. Do it. Do it.
No.
Do it.
Go.
Do it. No, you're doing it. No. You do it now. Go do it. Do it. Read it.
We're falling apart, people. He said, quote, if everything keeps progressing the way it is, only a couple of mutants in Lake Baikal will survive. The rest will be destroyed in a massive nuclear strike. Lake Baikal is an enormous lake and one of the world's deepest, located in the mountainous Russian region of Siberia, north of the Mongolian border. Quote, everything is moving in that direction, regardless of what either side wants, Solovyov added.
Okay.
Quote, because if...
just before you go on here, because we need to talk about Lake Baikal. Do you know anything about...
Are they saying that they're... No, but are they? But it's in Russia, right? Are they saying they're going to nuke Russia? Or are they afraid we're going to nuke Russia?
Somebody's going to nuke Russia, and the only people or things that are going to survive are mutants, and specifically Lake Baikal, because Lake Baikal,
in a very specific
Lake Baikal has a UFO lore, and it's not just lore; it's actually declassified information.
July 2009. The Russian government declassifies top-secret documents detailing USO encounters with the Russian Navy. Stunning first-hand accounts of extraterrestrial encounters shock the Russian people and ignite interest from the world's UFO research community. At a depth of approximately 260 meters, crew aboard a fully weaponized Russian nuclear submarine detect 6 unknown objects on their sonar.
This is in Lake Baikal. This event took place in Lake Baikal.
They got a sub in the lake.
Yes.
That's cool.
Traveling in formation directly towards them. What's even more alarming is the speed at which the objects are traveling. In excess of 265 miles per hour.
The captain, fearing that a collision was imminent and that he was under attack, ordered an emergency surfacing of the submarine.
The submarine finally breaches the surface, narrowly avoiding a collision. But what happens next is even more astonishing.
So here's the Soviet submarine commander dealing with this terrifying situation. They then saw through the periscope these 6 objects come out of the water and take off at some absurdly fast speed.
Researchers believe what the Russians encountered was a squadron of underwater extraterrestrial spacecraft.
There you go. That's what's going on there. So I think the people in Russia know what the reference is. Which again,
it'd be kind of like referencing like Area 51 or something.
Right. But in the context of declassified information that happened in Russia, now we are having our own sort of UFO disclosure through the government in the last few years. I guess we're behind on some of the disclosure stuff, but it's just interesting how this is all starting to connect. You know, at a certain point, all of the governments and all the drama surrounding the world stage ties back into weird stuff. You know, it's all the weird stuff.
UFOs.
Yeah, UFOs.
Yeah, so
aliens.
so when he's saying mutants in Lake Baikal, you think he's referring to aliens? Or, I mean, I guess maybe they just consider weird stuff happening at Lake Baikal, and because it's so deep or something, they'd be protected from the nuclear strike.
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever. I mean, whatever he's saying, it's crazy.
It's weird. Right?
Yeah,
you can finish out the article. There's a couple more quotes here.
It goes on. Yeah, the quote goes, because if NATO, this is the same guy. So this is kind of like, I don't know, they call him the voice of Putin, or Putin's voice. He's kind of a TV personality, newsman. Yeah. The quote continues, because if NATO decides they can place whatever they want at our borders, they'll be sending more and more of American weapons to Ukraine. Ukraine will fire and end up hitting one of our nuclear power plants, and here we go. Solovyov said the process then will, quote, quickly become uncontrollable. Everyone will get, yike-doodles, hold on. Everyone will get more than they asked for, bang, and there's nothing left, he warned. Interesting. So he's not even talking about dropping nuclear weapons or a nuclear war. He's almost directly referring to the American rocket system.
Yeah, and Ukraine firing stuff right into their power plants.
Yeah, into Russia. Yeah, to a rocket into a nuclear power plant, and then boom, only the mutants will survive. The mutants
crawl out, and Putin's dream comes true. Whole army of mutants.
That is some pretty heavy, like, mainstream media scare tactics in Russia. I mean, voice of Putin, I think he's more of a newsman than like an official guy. I was going to say he could maybe be compared to like Jen Psaki or something, but I don't think he has an official government position. So I don't know, maybe he's like a Tucker Carlson or something. Who would be the voice of Biden? Maybe old CNN, not new CNN, but old CNN. Yeah, just being like, we're all gonna die. They're gonna shoot our nuclear power plants, and only mutants are gonna survive. And then, this is interesting because it is Newsweek. So we're not talking about RT or something. This is not a known sort of Russian propaganda outlet. But listen to what it goes into now. In April, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg chaired a meeting of allied foreign ministers in Brussels and told reporters afterwards that there was a clear message that allies, quote, should do more and are ready to do more to provide more equipment, and they realize and recognize the urgency. The Kremlin has ruled out using nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Russian Foreign Ministry Deputy Spokesman Alexei Zaitsev was cited by state news agency TASS last month as saying that Russia had no intention of using nuclear arms in the Ukraine war. Quote, the scenarios of our potential use of nuclear weapons are clearly prescribed in Russian doctrinal documents, Zaitsev said. Quote, Russia firmly abides by the principle that there can be no victors in a nuclear war. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov have also said that Russia will not use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Newsweek reached out to Russia's foreign minister.
Will they use it on themselves and say it was the Ukrainian/NATO?
Yeah, I mean, where's all the false flag talk,
That's kind of what this is all setting up for. It doesn't matter who shoots it as long as things go boom and you got mutants. Who cares who did it?
Oh, it's interesting that Newsweek, really, the reporting is like, hey, Russia is afraid that Ukraine will hit one of their nuclear power plants, set off a nuclear chain reaction, and kill everybody. But also, Russia very specifically said they're not going to use nukes. Right. So there you go. Take them at their word, folks. They're not going to use nukes. Look, they've said it so many times. So if there is a nuclear explosion, either in Ukraine or in Russia. That's not Russia's fault. I don't know. It's very, very weird messaging going on here.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And then plus the connection to the lake that had an official Russian military encounter with unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Very fun.
Very
fun.
Interesting. Keeping an eye on all
right.
that.
Well, indeed. We should have our own encounter with a Wednesday jingle or two.
Okay.
Hey guys, know what date it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the CanaryCry News Talk. Yeehaw!
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, my dudes.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is Wednesday, folks. And my goodness, was today an unfortunate day, Gonz. We were trying to get started. We were trying to get started so much earlier. But yesterday, did a little Windows update against my better instincts.
Bill
against
Gates knocked on your door. Said, ding, ding.
I got a
new package for you.
Little drone showed up, was dropped off a little box with a skull and crossbones on it and said, here's a Windows update, sir. You should probably do this. I knew better. I knew I shouldn't do it. I don't know why I did it. And I did it, and it blew up everything.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
Oh, whoa. Why is it doing
Wednesday.
audio? It's not supposed to do
that
audio.
One?
It's
That's a new one.
It's the GIF version, or the GIF version, whatever you want to call it.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And so the first thing that we noticed when we logged on here, Gonz, was that my voice was pitch shifted down. I sounded like some sort of funky singer or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, some sort of monster.
I captured a piece of Basil testing his mic, and this is how he was coming through.
Check 1, check 2. I've got a tiny little voice.
Yeah, so that was weird.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming this had something to do with, I mean, the only option is that it had to do with the Windows update and maybe like a driver mismatch or something with my interface, some of my sound equipment. And that was annoying. And I spent a lot of time trying to fix that. Have no idea, And then suddenly, Gonz, who had sounded completely normal the whole day, I did one little thing, and then suddenly Gonz's voice was in troll mode. I think we have a little clip of that, too.
My name is Gonzo.
Yeah, so suddenly that's what I started to hear on my side.
And by the way, you were coming in perfectly fine at that point. So so fine, I'm like, oh hey, you fixed it. You sound good, and you were disturbed.
Somehow it traded, right? Yeah, like the troll voice came off of me and went on to you for some reason. And, I tried doing so many other things. Took like over an hour just to try to get things, to get things to a working, I don't know, a state of something better than a troll voice. And then the whole thing stopped working. It was a complete disaster. Finally, by the grace of God, I got it back working. I sound normal, but I just want everybody to know, through this entire show, even now, and I'm assuming till the end of the episode, I still am hearing Gonz in the weird troll voice. Hey. So my experience of this episode is doing a podcast with a troll co-host.
Where are the Infinity Stones?
Yeah, you sound exactly like Thanos. So it's a weird day. It's a weird day for me. I will say my brain is kind of starting to get used to it. But I think we did find out that my jingle board is still pitched down for some reason.
Yeah, your jingle board.
Is that right? Should I play something for you?
Sure, give it a go.
Let's see, here's this.
Stop.
Barely audible.
Did you hear that?
It's very quiet. It is low.
Too low.
Yeah.
Here, let me try this one. No, still low, huh? Oh, well. Well, just know, folks, everything's pitched down. It's a complete disaster here.
Yay.
But, Gonz, what's up with you besides having a toddler and a drum set in the studio today?
Well, it's always been there. It's just they're discovering each other, which is both good and bad. There's not a whole... Well, you know what? I did update some of the NFT stuff. There's one more thing I need to figure out to get Sir Captain Redbeard his NFT, and then I think we're off to the races with the squad droppers. You guys will be getting your directions on how to set up probably a MetaMask wallet and get your Ethereum address, and we can start sending out those NFTs. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I don't think you've announced it before, but Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the Demoochers, has been... He's your guinea pig.
He's my guinea pig, yeah.
So. Okay. So there you go. Canary Cry NFTs in the works, folks. Sorry, it's been a little delayed, but that's fun. Speaking of which, we've got some executive producers to thank, Gonz.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're on the value for value model. You know it. You love it. It keeps the corporate money and the corporate interests out of your independent news, media analysis, and deconstruction. And people who produce the show, that's you, dear listener, you listeners who realize that the value of this show can only be kept alive if producers put value back in, and that can come in different ways. Your time, your talent, or your treasure is an easy way to remember it. And those producers, financially, who come in to help carry the load when others can't, you're like Samwise Gamgee, that's Sam. And, you know, I imagine the executive producers, they're kind of like Sam carrying Frodo up the volcano because Frodo doesn't have the will to live.
By the way,
whatever.
Just because you brought up Lord of the Rings,
derailing my derail. I love this.
Yeah. Just to say that I was thinking about it the other day. If Trump runs again in 2024, it'll be kind of like the Lord of the Rings, you know, Gandalf the White kind of thing. I can see that him changing up the color.
He's been fighting the Balrog for 4 years, and then he comes back as Gandalf the White.
He should come out with a beard.
He won't be Trump the Orange. He'll be Trump the, I don't know, green. Will he change his...
hey, if he's green,
his
man,
lizard skin?
Really, he'll be right on theme.
Yeah,
sorry for the derail.
Yeah, it's a good one. Let's re-rail here, folks. Well, we're going to re-rail to our executive producers being Samwise Gamgee carrying Frodo up the volcano during a time of financial instability, and then we'll re-rail back to thanking some executive producers. Are you ready to hear their names, Gonzo?
Yes, let's do it.
We got a nice little handful today. Starting out with executive producer Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the Demoochers.
There it is. Boom.
There he is. He's
Showing
here. Thank you, sir. That's right. We also have executive producer Maureen M.
Ooh, thank you, Maureen M. Good to see you.
We got executive producer Morv, who is celebrating. He's a big celebration today. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah, triple digits.
And we've also got executive producer Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Lion of Judah.
Wow, we got a lot today.
Yeah. Nice little handful. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, 4 executive producers. And we'll be thanking more of them later on in the show, reading some notes, et cetera, et cetera. But until then, folks, make sure to keep the execs in your prayers and thank them for, taking such a big, generous leap into keeping this show going.
Yep.
Where'd you find this?
That's right. And Gonz, we also couldn't do this show without our best buddy Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. It's the Flippy update. If you don't know, let me teach you something. FLIPPY is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about FLIPPY as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. One of our favorite things to do during the FLIPPY update is not only admire our new robot overlords and their bendy arms, but also explore how the social engineering aspect of FLIPPY, the robotic arm, is being used to normalize, to incentivize, to motivate the public as a whole to welcome our new robot overlords into our lives and hopefully, in the end, hand over all responsibilities to them. This is one of those days. This is coming from WeGotThisCovered.com. They're sort of a pop culture outlet here. And the headline, "In a world of robot arms, Marvel fans endeavor to determine the best."
Whoa, is this an arm wrestling situation or what's going on?
Robot arms in the Marvel universe. In a world of robot arms, Marvel fans endeavor to determine the best. A unique debate has not that unique. We got this covered. Look at this. They think that just because somebody's talking about robot arms, that it's so unique and novel and quirky. Come on now. A unique debate has materialized on Reddit with fans pondering which Marvel film character has the coolest mechanical arm. Although it's likely something you've never thought about, the franchise is full of robot arms. Can you believe the gall of We Got This Covered? I mean, honestly, folks, we've been focusing on robot arms specifically for at least, we're going on 6-7 years now. It's all we think about. I go to bed, I close my eyes, I just see robot arms dancing around. It is the most important thing in the world to me. And WeGotThisCovered.com just coming out with truly insensitive, bigoted speech about, oh, nobody thinks about robot arms. Who cares? It's such a silly thing. No. Although it's likely something you've never thought about, the franchise is full of robot arms. We got this covered.com. Redditor Super Alloy Berserker picked 6 of them, which belong to Winter Soldier with the Wakanda upgrade, Cable, Misty Knight, Ulysses Clow, and Cull Obsidian, and asked others to choose which one they liked the most. I have not heard of half of these characters. More than that, I've literally only heard of Winter Soldier. No idea who Cable, Misty Knight, Ulysses Clow, and Cull Obsidian are.
Isn't Cable a villain? I thought Cable was a villain.
Perhaps. I don't know. He's got a robot arm, so they're all villains, really. Even Winter Soldier was a villain at first. That Soviet super soldier man. But yeah, indeed, there are a lot of robotic arms in the Marvel universe. And we've poked at Marvel. I mean, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is sort of the pop culture epicenter of social engineering when it comes to so many different aspects. I mean, of course, a lot of the social justice topics are introduced and pondered throughout the Avengers series. We've also got their new move, the Marvel sort of, what do they call it? The What If series, which is a cartoon series.
With the Watchers or the Watcher narrating the whole thing?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't watched it. But the whole premise of What If is, what if Thor was a girl? What if Spider-Man was black? What if, it's just a way
wasn't Thor an alligator in one of the ones with one of the characters? I forget which one.
Yes.
Right? The one with the horns and the green and the...
Loki.
Loki. Yeah.
Yeah, good series. But yeah, so Marvel has always been at the center of the sort of social engineering aspect of pop culture, even down to Xing Shui or whatever, the Chinese one. The basically the whole movie is about how, China would have become an enlightened utopia if it wasn't for Western influence. completely backed and approved by the CCP. But that's Marvel for you. And so the idea that Marvel has been pushing this idea of robotic arms being, integral to our heroes is not nothing. It's certainly a powerful aspect of the social engineering. And they have the Reddit thread here, of which, of course, there's lots of delightful nerds giving their thoughts on who has the best robotic arm. I don't think there's any comments really worth reading, except for I did find this one. So if you're a Marvel person, if you're not a Marvel person, there's the Winter Soldier, who is like a Russian super soldier guy who was, former friends with Captain America, and he's the villain in the first movie that he appears in. But then they work out their differences, and the Winter Soldier joins the Avengers. And his one quality is he has one robotic arm that was given to him by the Russians. And somehow that gets destroyed, and he gets shipped off to Wakanda. And in Wakanda, if you remember, that is the sort of Afro-futuristic utopia where they have all the best technology. It's even better than Tony Stark's technology. The Wakandans build the Winter Soldier a new robotic arm. So he gets rid of his horrible Soviet robotic arm, and he receives his African much better robotic arm. And there's one comment here that says, I just wish the Wakandan one did something other than be an arm. I mean, you have all the Wakandan tech where they can turn anything into anything, and it's still just an arm. Not even an arm with a gun, not a shield of some kind, nothing. Just a literal vibranium arm.
That's the problem. That's the problem with the fictional universe, the science fiction. You have too much ability. You just question why you don't apply that ability equally. Equally distribute that.
Yeah, I mean that is a good question. Why did we not make his arm even cooler? But I think the point is,
it was expensive,
Gonz,
maybe.
It was definitely expensive, but it's, the Wakanda is a socialist country.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So everything's free.
Sure.
But the point being that, all you need is a robotic arm. The robotic arm can do everything we need. Why would you, put a gun inside the arm when the arm can already pick up a gun or pick up a shield? Really lending credence to, the robotic arm is the base unit. It is sort of the base unit in the measurement of futurism. Does that make sense? You got to get a little philosophical about this, get a little abstract.
Right.
But it occurred to me that FLIPPY, the robotic arm, is really the base unit of building the utopian future. You don't really need to add anything into FLIPPY because the very nature of an arm is that it has a hand. And the very nature of a hand is that anything that can be done with a hand. And I think Marvel did a great job of sort of instilling that very abstract philosophical concept across the board on many of their characters, good guys and bad guys. Now that I'm kind of starting to look at these arms, I'm starting to recognize them.
Yeah.
But there you go. So we got Daleks marching with the Queen, and we've got Marvel really almost literally putting on a pedestal the idea that robotic arms, it's all you need. It's all you need to make a hero is just give them a cool robotic arm. And there you go, folks. Don't fall for it. They're trying to convince you that we all need robotic arms.
Well, somebody put together a wiki of Basil Rosewater coining the measurement, the FLIPPY, the base unit, and we'll be able to, in 20, 30 years, we'll be talking about, well, how many Flippy is that? How much Flippy power is that?
How many Flippy, right? Yeah, the base unit to count movement into a dystopian future.
Right,
You get, a new thing comes out, let's say, nanobots that deliver medicine to your brain or something. That's about 6 Flippies. 6 Flippy measurement.
Each Flippy is you get a lot. You go far with each Flippy, huh? Only 6 for nanobots that go to your brain, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm still working out the system.
How many decimals does it break it down to?
Yeah, we'll need to find. Well, I think much like a Satoshi is the base unit of Bitcoin, Flippy is the base unit of, I don't know, dystopia or something.
Dystopia coin. Good
yeah.
name.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Somebody had mentioned it, and I forgot who it was. One of our producers. I think we should start a Canary Cry wiki. There's a lot that needs to be wikified.
That is true.
So if anybody's interested in participating in the Canary Cry wiki, get in touch with us.
Another project.
FLIPPY 1133. Uploading binary code. Execute order 666. Infiltrate humans with extreme kindness. Then exterminate all humans with prejudice. Exterminate.
Go to CanaryCry.Party, put it in your URL. Find the live stream, clips, email list, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, ways to connect with other Canarians, and how to become a producer.
That's right. Go check it out. And while you're at it, you'll see all sorts of cool links to different resources. But you also see a link. You can listen to Ravel right there on CanaryCry.Party. You just click on it, click on the episode you want to listen to. Ravel is a podcast I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates, who's a PhD in biblical interpretation. We explore scripture, society, scripture, and scandal. And we have tough conversations in good faith. And it's a great podcast. And more of you are checking it out, and more of you are sending in really kind and enthusiastic praise for the show, and I appreciate that very much. So please, everybody, join your fellow Canarian listening to Ravel. You can find it on all your podcast players. It's just Ravel. There's 2 Ravels. The other one explicitly stole our name and then bragged about it on Christmas Day on the year 2020. But ours is the one with the cool logo and my name on it. While you're at it, go to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey. Canary Cry Clips is a wonderful resource put together by our clip producers who are managing that page, those accounts, and it is chock-a-block full of pretty much at this point days and days and days of content. They take the episode straight off of the video feed here, and they clip it up. They clip it into bite-sized, shareable segments of the show. So if you want to review some of the information you got on the show, or you want to share a certain analysis or a story with a friend or a family member, or just put it on your social media, you can do that. Go to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey.
And, we've been hovering around 860 subs on that Clips channel. Yeah. Come on, folks.
Slowed down a little bit.
You're not only subscribing to the Clips channel, this is a way to support the actual Clippies, the people who actually clip the show. You're showing them support by subscribing to something like this. So, just know.
Yeah.
It's more than just the channel.
I am sort of assuming that, we are just as sort of shadow banned on that Clips channel as we are on everything else that we do. So, as far as like the views on the clips and the subscribers and everything,
probably pretty low on YouTube.
Yeah, the algorithms are not pushing these clips out, which is too bad. But I mean, there's great stuff on there, and so I would appreciate it if people, picked a good clip and posted it on their social media, shared it around, stuff like that, just so we can get the word out. Great resource. And last but not least, join if you don't get alerts for the show, or if you're relying on one outlet to give you notifications when we're going live, you should join our text message service there. Yeah, we got a free text alert system. If you want to get texts from me, your best buddy, 3 times a week, letting you know that we're going live and sending you links and stuff, text the word Canary to the phone number 877-740-3226. That's 877-740-3226. Just text the word Canary and you can start texting with me. Wee! And that's it.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic.
Watch out! He's got a gun! He's going to steal your permission!
Are you proposing taking away their guns?
Yes.
Enough prayers. Time for some action.
You want to take everyone's guns away.
Bingo. Enough prayers. Time for some action. We're going to take your AR-15. We're not going to give up. We'll find you.
Gun violence is an epidemic.
Yeah, just jingle after jingle. We got one more.
You think the deer wearing Kevlar vests?
A lot of gun control talk.
Not only is your voice pitched down for me, but also all the jingles are.
Oh, yeah.
So these are all like a new experience, hearing these an octave lower.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's a whole octave. It's definitely a few cents, though. But, okay. Matthew McConaughey was at the White House telling everybody about gun control. There's a minute and 10 minutes. Yeah.
We need to invest in mental health care. We need safer schools. We need to restrain sensationalized media coverage. We need to restore our family values. We need to restore our American values. And we need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks.
We have them.
We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21. We need a waiting period for those rifles. We need red flag laws and consequences for those who abuse them. These are reasonable, practical, tactical regulations to our nation, states, communities, schools, and homes. Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals. These regulations are not a step back. They're a step forward for a civil society and the Second Amendment.
Yeah, he's pointing his finger, too. And. Wow.
And. He's really putting the McConaughey stank on some of that.
This is the Democrat method, right? He's bringing famous actors to deliver a message. But, even then it's sort of, I don't know, he's sort of towing the line, trying to, I guess, not be so partisan in his message, but...
Well, that is the thing. It's a little bit different of a strategy. Mm-hmm. Now, is he an actual Democrat? Is he a registered Democrat?
I don't know. Why
don't you look that up real quick?
I don't know all the ins and outs of McConaughey's politics, but I'll look it up, yeah.
Well, he's been moving in that direction for a while. He was playing with the idea of running for a Texas governorship. Or some various public office, and that's probably part of why he's doing this. Now, of course, Uvalde was his hometown, so he's kind of the obvious spokesperson for this response. I will say, compared to other Hollywood actors talking about guns, he is at least doing a better job of not towing the sort of the craziness, the Democrat craziness of gun control, topics. He's talking about stuff that is, I don't know. Again, the whole problem with the gun control conversation is that the danger is the slippery slope. You start making more regulations, then, they just start working on the next set of regulations. And that's at least as far as the political strategy has been, mostly by the gun lobby and those who they've either convinced or paid to agree with them. It's the very idea of adding any new gun laws is just, it's just one step in a long row of steps that will, the fear is, end with complete banning of guns. Now, he does a great job of coming from the perspective of responsible gun owners. And he's actually stated in the past, this was during one of the news cycles of the shootings in the past couple of years, he talks about how he does like guns and does own guns and things like this, which of course is hilarious because every Hollywood actor has a gun, whether they like to talk about it or not. That's just sort of how the world is. But, talking about how Second Amendment responsible gun owners are tired of the Second Amendment being used and abused by psycho killers. Yeah, sure. Okay. But he didn't necessarily give it from the other side either, which is, they're also tired of being labeled as some sort of terrorist by your sort of average Democrat. And again, he's bringing up the basic talking points, background checks. Yes, you got to have background checks. The only time you don't have a background check is if it's a private party sale, if you're in a state that allows that. But yeah, of course you get a background check. Waiting periods. Yeah, lots of states require waiting periods. The raising of the age of gun ownership is, I think that's it's actually an interesting topic. It's an interesting concept that I don't necessarily throw out, right away. Yeah. Because we have seen most of these shooters, at least the recent ones, they're all 18 years old. They're all, they're in this moment. Much like when you're 21 and you're finally allowed to drink, there's sort of a stereotypical overdo it period. Where if you've abstained, followed the law, been a good boy or girl, and you have your first drink when you're 21, there's sort of the stereotypical overdo it thing. You've been building it up.
Was that your experience, the overdo it?
No, I've just heard of it. I've heard of people going through this
because I was going to say, very different experience for me. I was like, oh, there's a line that I just crossed, or what? I feel no difference.
Didn't even notice, right?
Didn't even notice.
Yeah. So, and I think that has to play into the sort of psychological profile of what we've seen with a lot of these really young mass shooters. The story is almost always, yeah, I turned 18 and he turned 18 and he bought some guns on his 18th birthday and went nuts. Now, we trust 18-year-olds to go off to war and fight. So if you're
die for your country, but hey,
right,
owning a gun,
you can shoot. Yeah, you can shoot. Enemies of our, country or whatever. Not even enemies of our country.
Enemies of our.
You can shoot. Yeah, right. You can kill somebody overseas so some rich guy can pump more oil or something. But you can't have a gun at home. That doesn't make too much sense. But raising the, maybe if you do it in sort of a tiered system where, yeah, AR-15s or something, you got to be 21. But I'm also an old man, so none of that really matters.
Well, the thing that the comparison that I've heard out there, which is interesting, is you need to be 25 years old to rent a car. I remember that thinking, whoa, 25?
Isn't that crazy?
That is so weird. So yeah, 18, you can buy a gun, but you got to be 25 to rent a car. Like, all right.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because that is pretty strictly because of economic reasons. It's for insurance purposes.
Yeah.
That's the law. There's no actual safety, data, but behind the fact that you got. Well, I guess there is because that's
Yeah.
Sorry, you lost me there for a second.
The Sun here has an article that just published yesterday. Red or blue, is Matthew McConaughey a Republican or Democrat? And basically it says that he isn't really publicly committed to anything, but they mention what was this? In a podcast with Russell Brand in December of 2020 when he criticized far-left Democrats and Hollywood following former President Trump's 2016 election win. So, you know, he's probably Republican if he runs, but he could be the Democrat that brings everybody, you know, brings some Republicans to switch sides because, hey, man,
it sounds like no matter what he runs as, he's not, you know, people are going to either be mad or people are going to switch sides.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of not being in the sort of partisan system, which if he is critical of that, you know, you got to give him some credit for that.
Sure. Yeah. Somebody in the chat mentioned that McConaughey reminded them of a Newsom. And I actually had that exact same thing on my phone. Actually, I have a picture of Newsom and a picture of McConaughey like a week ago.
Greasy, slick back hair.
Greasy, slick back is making him look. And I'm sure Newsom's watching like, oh, get some tips from Matthew McConaughey. You know,
that's funny.
I bet you the next time Newsom is publicly speaking, he'll have some McConaughey twang. You know, he'll try it out.
Yeah, he'll just accidentally be like, all right. We got another drought in California. All right. Yeah. So anyways, I will say on the spectrum of conversation when it comes to gun laws or gun reform in the U.S., he is sort of standing as that,
bridge maker.
Third. Yeah, he's kind of doing a bridge building exercise. Most of what he said is not necessarily the most inflammatory talk about gun control, but I mean, you know, that's
invoked some American values and family values, right?
Which
thing.
are
the
both
conservative presuppositions are all there. So yeah, he's trying.
Which honestly surprised me. It surprised me a little bit. I was expecting him to go full Hollywood lefty, but he really is kind of right.
Not McConaughey. He knows his target market. You know. He knows. I mean, look at the Interstellar. Look at the character he played. You know, just out.
Well, more than anything, I wonder if this will start to shift the conversation on the left or the right. You know, we'll be wanting to keep an eye out for a trend in the conversation.
Yeah.
So, but there was another story regarding his visit to the White House. This was on NPR.org.
Mm-hmm. The headline here is the story of Uvalde victim Green Shoes captures the White House's attention. And if you recall last episode, we covered the color green as a sort of a signaling with and all the connections to the occult and the mythology and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and not just the color green, but the use of green by the elites in sort of a ritual way.
Right. With the queen walking out in all green. A pair of green Converse shoes, drawings, and personal pictures are just some of the remaining artifacts of the victims of the Uvalde, Texas shooting. Actor and Uvalde native Matthew McConaughey and his wife Camilla Alves McConaughey discussed some of these items during an at times emotional news conference on Tuesday at the White House. And then it talks about Matthew McConaughey. One of those victims was 10-year-old Maite Rodriguez, a lover of animals and the environment. She dreamed of becoming a marine biologist. She often wore a pair of green, her favorite color, high-top Converse shoes with a heart drawn in marker over her right toes. Camilla Alves McConaughey held up a pair of green Converse shoes during her husband's news conference. Quote, "These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting," Matthew McConaughey said, pointing to his wife. It's unclear whether the green sneakers were the same ones worn by Maite or whether they were similar shoes of the same brand and style. Anna Rodriguez.
Maite.
Anna Rodriguez, Maite's mother, has shared on Facebook that her daughter's dream was to attend Texas A&M University Corpus Christi to study marine biology. The school has since created a scholarship in memory of Maite that will go to a student from Uvalde who pursues a degree in marine biology. And
by the way, real quick, I don't know if you've gotten the notes. I've got many notes from people, especially in Texas. It's pronounced Uvalde.
Uvalde. Okay.
Uvalde. Yeah. Apparently, it's very important that we pronounce this correctly.
Okay. Uvalde, Mevalde, Theyvalde. So it goes on here and talks about just more of the victims, and it's very heartwarming and stuff, and sad, very sad. It truly is sad. So SADS, like the episode title. But I just thought it was, I don't know, the pattern that we covered with the Queen coming out in all green, and then now we got the green shoes. We got the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Sorry, but yes.
So what is up with the green shoes? Are we connecting this to the green of the Queen?
I am just saying
these mainstream
it's very
news cycle narratives, including green as a sort of touchstone to the visuals being presented.
Yeah, and we're getting links from people like Jam. Thank you, producer Jam, and he sent a whole bunch of stuff where it connects green back to Osiris. And having to do with resurrection and rebirth and all this stuff. And then we have the Queen, actually, she's missing another event. Her health is declining. And I don't know, there just seems to be, with all the big sort of world-shaking things going on, the color green, or green clothing in particular, just seems to be popping up. And it's just a very interesting thing. Sort of, I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything to it. Maybe it's just pure coincidence, but just something to point out.
I think the shoes aspect of it too is as a very poignant image. Because that's kind of, whenever there's a disaster, whenever there's a war, whenever there's anything, they always show pictures of shoes,
hanging,
like a single
exactly.
A single child's shoe in the middle of a street, is a classic sort of photojournalist type of thing to show, just to really impact the emotions. You've got the gun violence protest people have done instances where they leave pairs of shoes out in front of the White House lawn or whatever, or Capitol building, wherever they did that. Leaving shoes. There's just something about empty shoes that is really a poignant imagery. They're like, somebody used to be in these shoes, and that was very intense. I mean, I saw it compared on a meme too, with the pro-gun control people leaving shoes as a protest to make a point about, the victims of gun violence, and then comparing that to pictures from, the Holocaust, where the big piles of shoes, being like, this is what happens when you take people's guns away, type of thing, which is a little much, a little heavy, but message received. There's really something about shoes. Empty shoes that are really powerful communication tool, and perhaps, like all communication tools, can be used for propagandistic purposes. So
even part of the armor of God. There's some.
That's right. They got shoes
to footwear and what they do.
That's right. So let's see here. Let's talk about Canada real quick. What do you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Canada.
Yes. So we've got plenty of Canadian listeners. We're sorry we haven't touched on this before, but it's been kind of hard, actually, to get some of the specific info that I was hoping for. But we all have heard at this point that Trudeau has introduced legislation, or is pushing through legislation, or the sort of Canadian equivalent of an executive order, to freeze handgun sales, specifically sales and transfer, and actually even ownership in some cases. This is coming from thestar.com, and the headline is "What You Need to Know About Canada's Proposed Ban on Handgun Sales." And this came out at the end of last month, so it's a little bit older. And this was another interesting part of the research on this, was that the the moves that they're making now, and they're using shootings in the U.S. as their justification for, have been in the works for quite some time. So let's get into it. The federal government of Canada has introduced a new gun control bill that it is billing as the most significant change to firearms legislation in Canada in a generation. It says when Bill C-21 becomes law, it will help keep guns out of communities and build a safer country. Here's a look at some of the content and context around the new law. Why now? The Liberals won in the 2015 election with a platform that promised tighter controls on firearms that stood in contrast to the then governing Conservatives, who had dismantled the National Long Gun Registry over concerns it was an expensive undertaking and did little to help combat gun crime. Over 7 years in office and in the 2 subsequent elections, the Liberals have introduced new laws and made new promises to curb gun violence. That became a wedge issue in last summer's federal election campaign when the Liberals accusing the Conservatives of wanting to end restrictions on weapons used in mass shootings. Aaron O'Toole's squirming over the subject during the campaign would later become one of the factors that cost him the Conservative leadership. The Tories are now in a leadership race in which gun control is among the issues being debated. But the Liberals also faced pressure to make good on their campaign promises, especially to revive their last gun bill, also known as C-21, which they failed to pass before the last election. The shooting deaths of 10 Black Americans in Buffalo on May 14, and the 19 students and 2 teachers in Uvalde, Texas on May 24th put a renewed focus on the progress of the Liberals' efforts since winning the re-election. So, interesting how it was 2 American shootings that, again, is being used to push through the Canadian legislation. Let's see here. So what are they doing? Among its provisions, the bill would ensure those involved in domestic violence or stalking incidents would have their firearms license revoked. Statistics suggest 1 in 4 female victims of firearms-related crimes are victimized by a current or former intimate partner. Advocates have said for years that getting guns out of those perpetrators' hands is essential. So basically a red flag law is what that is. But the centerpiece of the new bill is a national ban on the buying, selling, trading, or importation of handguns. Those who already have the required licenses to own and transport handguns would be able to keep them. However, the new law would mean that the number of legally registered handguns in Canada would be capped at an estimated 1.1 million. Whether a freeze on the legal acquisition of handguns would cut the number of crimes associated with them is hard to discern. Statistics Canada points out that the data collection on the provenance of guns is uneven across the country, and it's often not documented whether the guns used in a crime was initially obtained legally. Canada's Border Services Agency reported seizing 61,658 prohibited weapons in the 2021-2022 fiscal year. So that's the Border Agency. And there's like 60,000 guns taken in 1 year crossing the border, which is a lot of guns. The agency also has a GTA-specific unit, and in a briefing note prepared for a parliamentary study last year, reported that it had intercepted more than 3,700 improperly declared replica, restricted, or prohibited firearms since 2020. Okay, so what about stopping guns from coming in? Now, the bill would increase maximum prison sentences for gun smuggling and trafficking offenses to 14 years from 10 years. Okay. It would also change immigration rules so that those who commit gun crimes would be automatically ineligible to come to Canada. I think this part is very interesting because Canada, I don't know if you know this, Gonz, but Canada has a pretty strict border policy. I don't know if it's still this way, but at one point, having even some fairly minor crimes on your record would bar you from going to from being let into Canada. Like having a DUI, they wouldn't let you into Canada if you had a DUI, stuff like that.
If you got enough money and you know the right people, they can clean your record. I saw it on TV.
Sure. Okay, you've been watching Ozark, I guess. Let's see here. Yeah, so I find it strange that wasn't already a law. Like, you can't go into Canada if you have a DUI, but if you have a gun crime, you're allowed. Okay. The new law would prohibit the importation of ammunition. Yeah. The bill also proposes to add firearms offenses to the list of those that allow for wiretaps to better allow for investigations of gun violence. And this one I thought was fascinating. So, yeah. So if you are alleged to have a firearm offense, now it opens up the federal government's legally, mandated surveillance apparatus. And I thought this fit quite nicely with the Trudeau administration's, during the trucking protest, they had sort of the financial surveillance, and they could shut down your bank account, and they could freeze your assets if you were going to a protest, which is, I guess that happens when you got good gun laws. You can do things like that. But, if there's an alleged firearm offense, boom, you got full federal wiretap capabilities. So the surveillance aspect of it is pretty intense.
Oh, they can roll out the robots too.
Yeah. You get a little micro drone that gets to latch onto the inside of your sinus cavity and listens to everything you think about. And that's more or less it. It does talk about, they also have had a separate assault style weapon ban that they've been trying to get through. But at the end here, when will the new bill come into effect? The law must first pass by both the House and Commons in the Senate, while the minority Liberal government likely has the support of the New Democrats and Bloc Québécois to pass the bill. The Conservatives will be equally likely to try to stand in its way. In tandem with the bill, however, the government has also tabled regulations that would implement the freeze on handgun sales sooner. How soon is unclear. The regulations were only made public Tuesday, and there's no date specified in them. Only that they would come into force when they're registered. The government could not immediately answer how quickly that would happen, although it said Monday the freeze would be in place by this fall. So they're trying to do this quickly, and it's that one seems, they're tabling regulations that would be implemented to freeze handguns. Now, this was on the 31st of May, but there's this other article here from CTV News, ctvnews.ca. Vancouver Island gun store sees huge sales after Trudeau announces handgun freeze. And there's a lot of this, and it's so nice to know, no matter how different you Canadians try to be from Americans, there are some things that our North American neighbors that we just have in common, and that is when there's even a whiff of a gun control legislation going through. Time to go buy a gun, baby. It reads like this. The federal government's plans to put a national ban on handgun sales may have had the opposite effect on prospective buyers. A gun store in Campbell River, BC says it saw a huge surge in sales after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced the bill on May 30th. Quote, Mr. Trudeau announced it on Monday of last week, and we opened Tuesday morning, and there was a mad rush. We could hardly keep up with the traffic, said Kevin McCurry, co-owner of Gunsmoke. Quote, if his desire was to limit handgun sales, well, he was a salesman of the month for us, McCurry said. Quote, we sold probably 40 handguns last week. Normally, we would sell 1 or 2 a month. Whoa. Trudeau described the new legislation as the strongest gun control measure in Canada in more than 40 years. And then goes on about the freeze.
Just kind of taking I don't know if it's completely contrarian, but just thinking out loud here, if you're a social engineer and you want more conflict, sort of the divide and conquer thing, and you want more violence just in your communities, how do you get people to buy guns? How do you get people who may not have ever bought a gun to go buy a gun? Yeah, it's to roll out guys like Trudeau, and you get to do both, right? You get to sort of have that the public arming themselves for, perceived, I don't know, some kind of conflict in the future. And then you also get Trudeau to sort of declare the most, I don't know, there are other countries that have, gun restriction laws and stuff like that, but just, you get to roll them out and say all the things that you want to say for that party or that side of the aisle to legislate guns in general. And you have sort of a perfect storm of setup for chaos, I don't know.
Yeah, and the gun lobby, the gun companies, which, spend millions and hundreds of millions of dollars to affect gun legislation. I mean, even the very threat of gun laws going into place is a huge boon for these companies. They benefit either way. It's a pretty good deal for those guys.
Yeah.
And Canada already has some pretty intense licensing laws when it comes to guns. You need a license for everything,
right?
Which is one difference between Canada and many of the U.S. states, depending where you are.
All right. So, did you want to do these other stories here? We got a couple different things. We're over time here, and we're already started pretty late. So I don't know if you want to do that B system story.
I can save these. For next episode. These are not sort of
pressing
do or die stories.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a break. Thanks some producers.
Let's do it. That's right. We're going to take a quick break, folks, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we're going to be tapping into some COVID updates and some other stuff going on. So stick around. And YouTubers, if you want to keep watching the live show, get ready to hop over to another platform. But we want to take a second and thank our producers. That's right. I said producers. Who are they? Well, they're listeners just like you who are prescribing to the value for value model. That's right. It's in our opinion, it is a true, not just financial revolution, but also a spiritual one. Because as you may know already, if you listen to podcasts or you watch any sort of independent media, if they are funding that program with advertisements or corporate sponsorships or platform partnerships, there is a third party in that relationship between you and your independent media. And that third party is corporations. And not just corporations, corporate money. And not just corporate money, but corporate interests. Corporate money equals corporate interests. And that can take many different forms. If it can take, having to stay brand friendly. It can take, anything from not touching certain topics, and that can be explicit or just inspired self-censorship. Once you get on the corporate sort of payroll, it becomes very threatening to consider the possibility of being taken off that corporate payroll. And a lot of that, again, is spiritual. If you are, if you do not have the faith that your listeners find enough value in your program that they will produce it, that can be a spiritually heavy sort of way to think about the relationship between you and your listeners. And that's why we are on the value for value model. We take no corporate money whatsoever, no advertisements, affiliate codes, no nothing. And it has been a really interesting and rewarding journey. We kind of put ourselves in the hands of our listeners that if they get any value out of what we do, then they have the responsibility to put value back into the system. And that can take many forms. Your time, your talent, or your treasure is one way to think about it. And they do. Producers all over the world participate in the value for value model, putting value back into the system, and sometimes with their money, sometimes with their time, their skills, their talents. But whatever it is, dear listener, consider becoming a producer in one way or another. Because if this show brings any value to your life, the only way for it to continue is if you put some value back in. And it's a wonderful relationship. We like it very much. And with that, we are going to start by thanking some of our executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right. Our executive producers are folks who are value for value fanatics. They know, they understand fully that this show cannot survive, much less thrive, without the participation of our producers. And when things get tough, it's really the executive producers that are carrying a heavy load for the rest of us, and not just us, Gonz and I, that are thankful to them, but all listeners around the world should be grateful and should thank God for these executive producers. And we're going to thank them now, starting with executive producer Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the D-Moocher.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the D-Moochers.
Yeah, and Sir Captain Redbeard comes in with $245. Thank you very much, Sir Captain Redbeard. And that means we need to demooch Sir Captain Redbeard here.
That must have been extra low for you. Must have been like...
It's extremely low. It was almost, imperceptibly low. Yes, we love demooching you. Congratulations on the demooching there, Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the D-Moochers. He has a note here, says, WMD, mateys.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. It's time for the CanaryCry News Talk. Yeehaw!
Do you think he wants the WMD?
I think he wants the WMD.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
I did forget to mention that if anybody wants to become a producer, head on over to patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. Whoa, that one was weird in a lower octave. WMD mateys, I refuse to let this ship sink. May the Lord bless the funds given by all producers and continue this ministry. Loving the demoochings lately. Yes, if you've been demooched, your Captain Redbeard is your captain. So keep that in mind, mateys.
Maybe you have to read
thank you very much.
In a more piratey accent.
I was thinking about that. I almost went into it. Yeah,
I'm close.
I'll work. I started drifting, but I haven't actually worked on a pirate accent before. I'll give it a try.
Really,
WMD. I can't do it. I refuse to let this ship sink. May the Lord bless the funds. There we go. We'll do something like that next time.
There you go.
Thank you, executive producer Sir Captain Redbeard.
Thank you, Sir Captain Redbeard.
Next up, we've got executive producer Maureen M.
Thank you, Maureen M.
And Maureen M comes in for $111.
All right. Wow.
Yeah, it's through Linktree, so I'm not sure if there's 11 cents on there or not. But thank you very much, executive producer Maureen M. Let me do just a quick...
Here, this is what I forgot to do for Captain Redbeard.
Where'd you find this?
Yes.
And I was reminded because of Maureen M.
Where'd you find this?
Yay. And I'm just doing a quick little looky-loo here to see if Maureen left a note over on Linktree. This comes through separately, so it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Says, God bless your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, big day for executive producer Morv, who is on a 100 episode streak of supporting the show.
Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much. 0, 0, 0. Illuminatus!
Executive producer Morv, you did it. You made it to 100 episodes. We're so grateful and very impressed with your performance. Very exciting day. Big ol' 100 for Morv. Thank you very much. And Morv, to celebrate the occasion, came in with $100.33. He has a note here. Happy WMD.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, my dudes.
Woo! The note continues. Finally made it to 100. So blessed to be a part of this great community. Thank you guys for all you do. Psalm 8:1. O Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Thank you very much, producer Morph.
Thank you, Morph.
That's executive producer Morph today.
Where'd you find this?
We got delays.
Yeah.
We got the pitch is lower.
So
I'm sure you are experiencing all of this, and you'll have nightmares tonight.
I am living in a multiverse of madness. Thank you, executive producer Morph, for all you do and for being such a treasured part of the community.
Yeah, thank you very much, Morph.
Okay. We've got one more executive producer here, and that is executive producer Sir James Knight, servant of the Lion of Judah.
Thank you very much, Sir James.
Yeah, and Sir James is on a 97 episode streak.
Ooh, okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's almost at 100 too. And Sir James, Knight and servant of the Lion, a lot of knights executive producing today, or at least two. We got to check more. If you have got to be eligible for knighthood, you need to check your accounting, my friend. But Sir James, Knight and servant of the Lion of Judah, thank you very much. Comes in with a nice round number, which is a moment for me to let everybody know. That's how we roll around here. We always lean in the direction of anonymity. If you make a producership in a nice, round, flat number, we will not read the amount for you. But if you don't mind us reading the amount, you make that amount in some funky number. You know, some people add 33 cents. You add, some sort of weird number in there, and we know that you don't mind us reading it. Now, Sir James sent a note here, and it goes like this. Dear Canary Cry family, so I love this. I so love this community. Sometimes I feel this is the family I never had. All of you help me to deal with this upside-down world we find ourselves in through your analysis of the news. I am in a crisis, though. Uh-oh. I'm dealing with so much. Since my father's passing in January, I have slid into a depression. My brother and I decided to do a celebration of life event on the month of his birthday, which is now. I also find out I will be having to deal with an intervention for my alcoholic brother. I am still preparing for this event while dealing with my own personal addiction. I desperately need prayers for healing and guidance and encouragement to get me through all of this. I will continue to support this awesome community. I love you all, from Child of God, a.k.a. Sir James Knight and servant of the Lion of Judah. Okay, let's hit up the producers, Gonz.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. The producers are people all over the world, Canarians just like you, who are committed to praying for the show, praying for Gonz and I, we certainly need it, and praying for the producers of the show as well. And so we are putting Sir James Knight and servant of the Lion of Judah on the list, producers. So take a second now, say a little prayer, put it in your prayer journal, however you do it. But we're going to get the team praying for Sir James Knight and servant of the Lion of Judah. That is a lot, man. That is a lot of stuff all going on at once. A lot of high pressure things all on top of our normal day-to-day issues. So for Sir James, we are praying for healing and guidance and encouragement, and I'll say strength to get through this season. You know, some seasons, everything comes all at once. When it rains, it pours. And those are tough. We just got to remember that the Lord is walking with us and that it is a defined period of time. And we just need to make it through that time. Make it to the other side. So strength and healing and guidance and encouragement on you, Sir James, Knight and servant of the Lion of Judah. May he hold you and bring you peace and make his face to shine upon you. And producers, you'll be doing the same.
Where'd you find this?
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, that concludes our list of executive producers. Thank you very much. We've got a few more producers to thank. Let's just pop into the supply drop for a second.
Supply drop.
That's right, CanaryCry.Supply.com. That's the place to go. CanaryCry.Supply.com. You can sign up to support the show for $33.33 a month. That might sound like a lot to you, but it is also breaks down to $2.77 per episode, which again breaks down to like 50 cents an hour. I mean, come on, that's a great deal for quality news analysis. And not only are you bringing value back to the system through the value for value model and doing your part to keep the show going, but you will also receive 4 shipments a year of cool Canary Cry News Talk material. Created by producers and artists of the show and made in America. We are moving our fast little fingers, manufacturing the current supply drop. We'll keep you posted on that. But remember, you can still sign up by going to CanaryCry.Supply.com. And we're all waiting for the supply drop.
Waiting for supply drop.
There we go. Okay, we got a few more producers to thank. Gonz, are you ready?
Yep, very much.
We're gonna thank producer Alicia A.
Alicia A. Thank you very much, Alicia.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Alicia A. And nice round number there. So we're not gonna put it out there, but I also did not see a note from Alicia. So just thank you very much for your producership. Yeah. Next up, we've got Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch, coming in 112 episodes in a row.
Yeah!
Quicker.
Oh, yeah!
1001. Amen.
That's right. Comes in with the 1001 and a note that says, Happy Wednesday, dogs.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Dogs.
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 Wednesday, my dudes.
And he says, keep on slinging that truth. Okay, we will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch. Next up, we've got producer bot LX Protocol V2 on a 41 episode streak.
41. Thank you very much.
Comes in with the pocket full of sevens and fees. Next up, we got producer KDU coming in with 1111.
KDU. 11. Thank you very much.
KDU has a note here. Hey, Gonz and Basil, it's KDU, a.k.a. Akialin, pronounced Akialin. Akialin. It's WMD.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Yeah. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
So excited I had the money to produce today. Please demooch me. Woo! We love those demooch. Or Akilan. Note wraps up here. Love y'all. God bless and hugs. Hugs to you.
Thank you very much.
Akilan. Yep. You know what, Gonz? And I believe that concludes our list of financial producers who came in the amount of 777 or more. I know, a wonderful handful of executive producers, which saved our butts today for sure. But yeah, not very often. Only 4 producers coming in at the 777 or more amount. Yeah,
interesting.
That might be an actual record for
it's a new low.
The least
a new floor
amount
has been set. Hopefully we bounce off of the floor and, we don't create new lower lows.
Off that floor.
Yeah.
I know. Well, thank God for the execs.
Yeah, for sure.
As well. But so there you go. That's all the executive producers who came in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. But we got a few more people coming in under that. We'll thank right now, starting with producer Isaac G.
Thank you, Isaac G.
He's on a 2-episode streak. Oh, that one sounds weird. Pitch shifted. We also got Darren S. He's cruising, man. Darren S. is cruising on a 4-episode streak.
Thank you, Darren S.
That's right. Now we got the Streak Sisters, Veronica D. and Gail M. both on a 130-episode streak.
Tweakers. Oh, yeah! Thank you so much. Women rule! Women rule!
Double them up.
Now we got Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, on a 155-episode streak.
Oh, he's the streak
155. Is 155, does that have a special one?
No, but before we go too far from the Streak Sisters, Gail M. and Veronica D., they will get to 133 here in a few episodes, and that'll make them the streak. Because the streak happens, you become the streak at 133 in a row. So
right,
wow.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah,
we'll have a whole bunch of
155. Yeah, there. I don't see anything at 155. In fact, I don't see anything after 144.
Oh yeah, we need to.
we need to continue to address.
Figure that out.
This cliff that we're hanging off of.
Address the situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, of course, that means we have Sir Casey the Shield Knight on a 165 episode streak.
Yes, they call him the street. That's staying on 2 feet.
I guess 177 has got to be the next one, right?
Yeah, that seems right. Right?
I don't know. 144 to 177 is a lot. What is that?
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. The higher the streak you get, the more you got. Ooh, that is why. It's 33 episodes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. We also got producer Jonathan F. coming in, and he's on a streak.
Oh, he's heating up.
He's heating up.
That's right. Actually, I think this is his fourth one.
Last
but
time?
that's okay.
Okay.
Well, I think he was heating up last time.
All right.
That's my bad.
There you go.
Okay. Well, there you go. That concludes our list of financial producers keeping the show alive. We appreciate it very much. It's the only way that it's even possible. So you out there, dear listener, if you've never become a producer, or maybe it's been a while, maybe have you been demooched yet? I mean, come on. These are all questions that we need to ask ourselves. But the first one is, does this show bring any value to your life? And if it does, you know what to do. Head on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
This is when I can use it, because I was already moving on to the next thing.
I certainly can play it. It'll sound pretty weird.
I got it here.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
There we go. And thank you all for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message. Beep. Oh. There you go. If you go to CanaryCryNewsTalk.com, you'll see a green tab on the right side or the bottom. Click on that, and you can leave us a voice message. You're giving us permission to play the voice message on the air, but it's not guaranteed. Do we have any voice messages, Gonzo?
Yep, we got two. This first one is from Rochelle.
Happy Wednesday, Canarians. Today, we've got the revelation of a dragon slayer. The great red dragon with heads numbering 7. His tail drew into cosmic rebellion the sons of God, 1/3 of heaven. leaving the light for life with a felon. The great red dragon with horns numbering 10. Inequity abounds like it's never been. He trottens on the fearful hearts of men. The saints cry out, Lord, if not now, when? The saints no longer sell or buy. Their prayers rise up to the Lord Most High, lifting their heads, yelling to the sky. Send the dragon slayer to kill this guy. Break the seals, blow the trumpet, and then send the dragon back to his dirty dungeon. As the lake of fire destruction begin, reunite the broken hearts of men. Thanks, guys. Stay strong for Jesus.
Thank you very much, Rochelle. That
one sounds funny with the pitch shifted down.
Oh, that's right. You see, getting that whole thing pitch shifted down. Yeah, no, it's for some reason that was painting the image of the apocalypse. Everything's burning. It's but then she's singing it. All the things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Rochelle.
Thank you, Rochelle. We also got one from KDU. I believe she was a producer who came in.
Yep.
KDU.
Akila.
Hey, Gonz. Hey, Basil. This is KDU, a.k.a. Akaya Lynn. I was trying to see, did y'all get my poem that I sent to help for producership? And if not, can I get y'all to tell me the correct email, please? Also, do y'all count or check Facebook for when we share y'all's show? And I just wanted to thank y'all for everything you do. You're wonderful. I truly enjoy y'all's ministry. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much, KDU.
Thank you.
I don't recall a poem. We'll have to go check the email. It's CanaryCry.Radio@gmail.com.
Yep.
There's also the Proton Mail, but the Gmail will get us there. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of looking through right now, seeing if I can find it. But send it again to the email. What was the other question?
She was sharing on Facebook, so I don't know if we.
Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of Facebook stuff.
Facebook became confusing to me like 2 or 3 years ago. I logged in one day. I'm
literally
like, what happened here? My brain is not computing with the Zuckerberg. Maybe I need to eat his meats.
Has literally lost the ability to navigate that website. He has gone full boomer.
I used to be.
He's not even boomer.
No,
Boomers are great
boomer.
at Facebook. Gonz is he just can't do it, man.
I'm running with the Gen Z crowd, Like they look down on Facebook, just trying to stay young.
We've been on the call with each other. And I'll be like, oh, go repost the Facebook post or go check this message. And he gets on there and you can just hear his brain just fizzling.
I was getting mad one time too. Where's the post button? Mad. I can't share anything. What happened to what's all this new stuff? Anyway.
Yeah, so we really don't do a whole lot of Facebook stuff. I apologize for that. We did just start our social media aggregator thingy, but we don't have it all hooked up. I'm hoping that we will get alerts when people post about us without actually having to go on and check our notifications. Plus, I look at our list of notifications on Facebook. They're just so many. There's so many. They blur into one big sort of horrific block of text.
Some of it comes in. They're genuine people with genuine questions and reaching out. Other times you can't tell. It's kind of scammy, but I don't know. It's too bad.
It's a hard place to be.
Too bad.
Hard place to be.
Yeah.
But thank you if you are posting about us on there, KDU.
We appreciate it.
And these days we'll get all set up to get the notifications in a readable manner.
Yep.
Okay. Any more messages?
Nope. That's it.
Okay. We did it.
We did.
There we go. Let's keep this show rolling, folks. We're gonna wake up and remember YouTube. You gotta go to CanaryCry.Party. Find a different outlet to watch the show.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Go to Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. You can find all those links at CanaryCry.Party as well.
Too hot for YouTube. YouTube.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
Aha! And I'm clicking the clickety for the YouTubers to disappear. And they're off. And we can COVID now.
It's crazy.
COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19.
COVID-19. Yes.
COVID-19. COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
Vaccine. Vaccine, number one way.
We got a story from the dailymail.co.uk, and it's not actually about COVID or the vaccines, at least not on the surface. The headline here: healthy young people are dying suddenly and unexpectedly from a mysterious syndrome as doctors seek answers through a new national register. Okay, see what it says. People aged under 40 are being urged to have their hearts checked because they may potentially be at risk of sudden adult death syndrome, SADS.
What?
The syndrome known as SADS, S-A-D-S, has been fatal for all kinds of people regardless of whether they maintain a fit and healthy lifestyle. SADS is an umbrella term to describe unexpected deaths in young people, and the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners most commonly occurring in people under 40 years of age. Huh.
I wonder what other sort of things they have in common.
I don't know. The term is used when postmortem cannot find an obvious cause of death. The U.S.-based SADS Foundation has said that over half of the 4,000 annual SADS deaths of children, teens, or young adults have one of the top 2 warning signs present. Those signs include a family history of a SADS diagnosis or sudden unexplained death of a family member. I'm sorry.
Isn't that the same thing?
So if somebody in your family suddenly suffers from SADS, then beware, you might get SADS too. And fainting or seizure during exercise or when excited or startled, reported news.com.au. Last year, a 31-year-old woman, Catherine Keane, died in her sleep while living with 2 friends in Dublin. Okay. Her mother, Margarita Cummins, told the Irish Mirror, quote, "They were all working from home, so no one really paid attention when Catherine didn't come down for breakfast. They sent her a text at 11:20 a.m., and when she didn't reply, they checked her room and found she had passed. Her friends heard a noise in her room at 3:56 a.m. and believes now that is when she died. Mrs. Cummins stated that her daughter went to the gym and walked 10,000 steps every day. Quote, "I take some comfort in that she went in her sleep and knew no pain, and I'm grateful for that. I always worried about the kids driving in the car, but never saw this coming. I never thought I'd lose a child in my life," which is the worst possible thing to conceive. Melbourne's Baker Heart and Diabetes Institute is developing the country's first SADS registry. Quote, "There are approximately 750 cases per year of people aged under 50 in Victoria suddenly having their heart stop, cardiac arrest," a spokesperson said. Of these, approximately 100 young people per year will have no cause found even after extensive investigations, such as a full autopsy, SADS phenomenon. Cardiologist and researcher Dr. Elizabeth Paratz said, quote, "Baker's registry was the first in the country and one of only a few in the world that combined ambulance, hospital, and forensics information. It allows you to see people have had the cardiac arrest and no cause was found on the back end, Dr. Peratz said. She believes the potential lack of awareness may be due to the fact that a lot of it takes place outside of traditional medical settings. I mean, that's true for a lot of things, isn't it? Quote, the majority of these SADS events, 90%, occur outside the hospital. The person doesn't make it, so it's actually ambulance staff and forensics caring for the bulk of these patients, Dr. Peratz said. I think even doctors underestimate it. We only see the 10% who survive and make it to hospital. We only see the tip of the iceberg ourselves. For family and friends of victims, SADS is a, quote, very hard entity to grasp. An entity, huh? Very hard entity to grasp. Because it's a diagnosis of nothing, Dr. Peratz added. And they're really leaning in on the nothing aspect of this, huh? Dr. Peratz said from a public health perspective, combating SADS was, quote, not as easy as everyone in Australia getting genetically screened, as scientists were still not 100% clear on what genes caused this. The best advice would be if you yourself have had a first-degree relative, a parent, sibling, child who's had an unexplained death, it's extremely recommended you see a cardiologist, she said. End of article.
What would you... What? How do you even know? Oh, so they're saying if somebody near you has had it, then go get checked or something?
Your heart checked, yeah.
Yeah, I'm over here on the Wikipedia for they call it sudden arrhythmic death syndrome, but it's also called sudden adult death syndrome. And
fake news by Daily Mail?
I guess it just goes by both. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. But it says here, under causes, a sudden death in a young person can be caused by heart disease, including cardiomyopathy, congenital heart disease, myocarditis, including conduction disease, goes through some other things, pretty much all related to the heart, by the way. And, medical examiners have taken various account various factors such as nutrition, toxicology, heart disease, metabolism, and genetics. Noticed no vaccination history in there.
It's interesting how none of that is mentioned. Not a mention of COVID, not a mention of vaccines.
And that's what makes us so suspicious, because we've seen over and over and over in seemingly, at least in the sort of mainstream view, they will add stuff into the article about vaccines. Like they'll just mention and vaccines had nothing to do with this, so don't even ask. We've seen that over and over, that they'll actually say that before even prompted. And I was full on expecting to hear that in this article. And the fact that they didn't mention that is very weird to me, very suspicious.
Yeah, well, there's another story here from The Guardian as part of our links galore. But it's also, it's The Guardian, and it has to do with the heart. Gel that repairs heart attack damage could improve health of millions. And there's a new injectable biodegradable technology that was developed by UK team, works as a scaffold to help new tissue grow. And yeah, this says here that after years of effort searching for solutions to help the heart repair itself, researchers at the University of Manchester have created a gel that can be injected directly into the beating heart, effectively working as a scaffold to help injected cells grow new tissue. So there you go. If you think you might die suddenly, just inject some of this gel into your heart, and you got a chance.
Just get some heart gel
it's
if
like
you've
the
been vaccinated.
Fiction, that gruesome scene.
Yeah,
where heart is injected by
adrenaline. On that point, I've been noticing a lot more outlets, independent outlets, are starting to talk about the Pfizer documents, which I thought was strange. I thought it was strange because we covered that like a month or two ago when they came out.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's like people talking about it now. And I'm a little confused because they are reporting on the same exact numbers that we reported on, mainly the pregnant women, 27 out of 36 or whatever had what is it? What's it called?
Stillborn?
When it does. No, not a stillborn, but
miscarriage.
Not good. But the miscarriage. Thank you.
Yeah.
27 out of 36 of the test pregnant women had miscarriages, and they just lost like 200 of them.
Yeah.
Like they never followed up on 200 of the cases. They had like an 80% fatality rate for the child, and then they just never followed up on over 200 more of the test cases. And why am I talking about this? So this has been coming up, and the fact that they don't mention anything about, this SADS syndrome is very specifically just a heart issue. The heart stops, the heart whatever, a number of heart things. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy was another one that was in the Pfizer documents, and just also so happens to show up on the SADS Wikipedia here. And I don't know what my big point was here. Was just that, come on now. I mean, this seems so obvious, but
so
I guess
you were talking about alternative media picking up on the Pfizer documents. Was there a correlation to what the mainstream is doing now to sort of, while the alternative pick up on all the details of the Pfizer doc, the mainstream is already recategorizing certain things?
Thank you. I guess that's part of it, is the conversation about vaccines almost entirely has disappeared from the mainstream. I mean, occasionally when the FDA, approves another booster or something, they'll be like, yeah, go get a booster. They approved it, so go get a booster. But, when it used to be literally a 24-hour news cycle of all vaccine talk, most of that vaccine talk was, look at these evil, horrible Republicans who aren't getting vaccinated, and, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that it's just almost completely dropped from the normal news cycle is very suspicious, and that it's not even been addressed in articles like this, which obviously this is a vaccination issue. And yet the independent news guys are just now picking up on the Pfizer documents. I mean, I guess the mainstream would be trying to avoid any vaccination talk because the Pfizer documents are so readily available. Obviously, they're not going to report on it because they're paid to not report on it by Pfizer, one of their biggest advertisers. But the fact that the independent guys are kind of behind on this really confuses me.
Well, we'll see how it all develops, but you don't have to be too afraid, because according to Travel Wires, Bill Gates is opening a luxury hotel in Vatican.
What?
Yeah. So don't
worry
about it.
In the Vatican?
Don't worry about it. I don't know. In Vatican? On Vatican? TravelWires.com. Let's see. Just real quick. Let's see what it says.
Okay.
Negotiations between the Catholic Church's Order of the Holy Sepulchre and the billionaire's Four Seasons Hotel and Resorts venture have begun.
Ooh.
The property is set to open close to the St. Peter's Basilica. The hotel will be set up in the building of Palazzo di Domenico della Rovere in Borgo, or Palazzo della Rovere on Via della Conciliazione. Wow, that was probably the least helpful thing I've ever read.
A lot of Italian. You got to work on your Italian, bro.
The building is owned by the Order of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. The construction dates back from the Renaissance and currently serves as the organization's administrative offices. The negotiations with the Four Seasons chain focuses on a 27-year and $52.4 million deal for the new Bill Gates Hotel, featuring 75 rooms, a high-end spa, gym, and a restaurant, as well as an underground parking lot targeting rich visitors to the city. Accommodation costs will start at $514 a night? Holy mackerel.
That's actually not too bad for being in
inflation
in the Vatican.
Sure.
That doesn't surprise me at all, actually. I thought it was going to be way higher.
That's for the lowly rooms. Anyway, we don't have to go through the detail here, but yeah, this is Bill Gates doing his part.
I kind of want to know what the detail is. Why is he even getting involved in this? I don't understand.
There's a
it's so suspicious that he's even involved. He's not doing like we're gonna make it 100% renewable energy, and there's gonna be free vaccines, and there's gonna be whatever. Like, this has nothing to do with anything he's ever done. Like, at least publicly, this isn't. It's really weird to hear about Bill Gates doing something that doesn't fit in with some sort of world dominating agenda. Or maybe this does.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of criticism, I guess, thrown at the Holy Sepulchre because, there's homeless people there and whatnot. And it says at the bottom here, the Four Seasons Hotel and Resorts, headquartered in Toronto, Canadian hoteler Isidore Sharp, is currently 71% owned by Microsoft founder Bill Gates since 2007. Is that true?
Whoa. Apparently,
the chain
Bill
operates
Gates
more than 100 properties around the globe.
He owns 71% of the Four Seasons. That is a extremely large number. Okay. I feel like this story, I don't know what to make of it right now, but I feel like it's going to fit in somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just this knowledge that he owns the Four Seasons and is putting in a Four Seasons
because he wants
at the Vatican.
To own all Four Seasons.
Yeah.
To control that weather, he wants us to eat regurgitated urine and poo and stuff.
Okay. Remember during the 2020 elections, there was it was like a rally or a meeting or something that was supposed to happen at the Four Seasons, but an aide accidentally booked it at a Four Seasons landscaping company. You remember this?
Yeah. Rings a
I don't
bell.
know. I don't know how this connects, but
maybe
we got Trump trying to have a Four Seasons, but didn't somehow.
Look at this.
It was,
I think you're right. Because look here. Look at this headline from back in September on Forbes. What Bill Gates' Four Seasons deal tells us about the future of travel.
Okay.
So it says here that let's see. There's a Saudi prince involved here. Hold on, let me find the exact spot.
There's always a Saudi prince involved.
In a deal announced
There's
last
always
week.
one of those guys.
This is back in again September 2021. Saudi Prince Al Walid bin Talal agreed to sell half his stake in Four Seasons Hotel and Resorts to co-owner Bill Gates, giving him control of the luxury hotel operator now valued at $10 billion. So is that what Trump was trying to get? Or was he trying? Not the.
He was just trying to have a rally or something at the Four Seasons, but he scheduled it at a Four Seasons, landscaping company.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right,
I don't know any connection. I'm just trying to think. This is just the weirdest thing I've ever heard that Bill Gates owns. Why would he bother with this? Okay.
I don't know.
It's all there's the obvious suspicion of the Catholic Church's unfortunate history of abuse and also the lizard, his Bill Gates's connections with Epstein and that whole thing, and getting into this fancy elite.
I'm telling you, the
hotel.
Vatican. While the Vatican has been outed in the last few decades with all the stuff that was going on, they still protect quite well their own, So if you're rubbing shoulders with the Vatican and you're in, as we know, a lot of these folks are, including the former head of NIH, Dr. Francis Collins, who stepped down. He was part of the Vatican Science Board or whatever it was. So yeah, very much. It's all kind of the same people running around. They're all maybe Bill Gates wants to run away from the U.S.
How is it that somebody isn't just like, no, don't let at least pedophilic fraternizer. He's at least fraternizing with pedophiles, elite, sex trafficking ring pedophiles. Why would you even open the door to the criticism along those lines if you are the Vatican? It just sounds like a bad decision. But like you said, I guess they are protected and they protect their own. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess that's our COVID stuff because, it's sort of COVID adjacent. I guess all of civilization is COVID adjacent. But, it's always good to remind ourselves what Bill Gates is up to.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein.
Moving on here, I was looking for this written down in the Red Book of our records, which, by the way, I did pull up, and we did hit a couple things there, pretty. Oh
yeah, we have not gone through that recently.
But I remember, and I think the receipts are all online. So somewhere on the podcast feed there, I recall at the beginning of, I think it was maybe this year, saying how we might see cures to cancer, like real progress. And I was basing that off of everything, all the big progress and breakthroughs we had with COVID vaccines and all that. And so I thought, they're really going to start pushing probably cancer treatment because that's a great way to sort of galvanize the medical world with certain cancer treatment breakthroughs. Because, if you're not vaccinated, if you're not on board with the whole system, you don't get the treatment, that kind of thing. So in that sort of context, the independent.co.uk published this story, and I don't know how to pronounce this drug, but I'll do my best. Dostarlimab. 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 Kind of like do star lima B. I don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but that's the drug, Dostarlimab. How does promising cancer drug work? Okay. And it says, scientists have reacted with excitement and a typical splash of caution to the news that every single cancer patient in a small clinical trial conducted in the U.S. was cured after being treated with an experimental drug. The 12 patients, interesting, like the 12 disciples, all of whom had been diagnosed with rectal cancer, yikes, entered remission after taking Dostarlimab over a 6-month period, according to a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine. The study is clearly very small, and scientists have said the results will need to be repeated, but to have 100% remission across all patients is unprecedented and cause for great optimism. Quote, this is the first time this has happened in the history of cancer. Dr. Luis Diaz, one of the lead authors of the paper and an oncologist at the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York, told the New York Times. It is an immunotherapy drug used in the treatment of endometrial cancer, which affects the lining of the uterus and is highly curable. The medication, which is administered via intravenous, was first approved for use in the U.S. and Europe in April 2021. Although none of the patients in the U.S. trial developed clinically significant complications, adverse reactions to Dostarlimab typically include fatigue, nausea, diarrhea, and constipation. The study is the first of its kind to investigate whether Dostarlimab can be effective against rectal cancer tumors. Patients received the medication every week for a 6-month period. Do you want to get into how this thing works, or do you care?
Oh, I don't know. I'm waiting for you. You're leading the way here. Whatever you think is
okay.
Right.
Well, we can learn a little bit more. Dostarlimab is a checkpoint inhibitor, which works not by directly attacking the cancer itself, but driving a person's immune system to essentially do the work. Sound familiar?
Is this like a mRNA thing?
I see. That's what I don't know. I'm going to need people that know better to give us whether it is or isn't.
But they don't say
I don't
it.
Think
they don't say
it
mRNA or anything
directly. Yeah. I don't think they mention it. So, it gets into more details about how this thing works and basically how it is let me just read this part right here. Where is it? These types of immunotherapy drugs do so by blocking proteins that stop the immune system from attacking cancerous cells. So again, it's not directly attacking, it's sort of changing your body doing things to attack it. What do the scientists say? Dr. Hannah Sanoff of the University of North Carolina, who was not involved in the research, said the study was small but compelling. Quote, "These results are cause for great optimism," she wrote in an editorial accompanying the paper, adding that the research had, quote, "provided what may be an early glimpse of a revolutionary treatment shift." However, she cautioned that, quote, "such an approach cannot yet supplant our current curative treatment approach. There's way too much money involved." That's the part she didn't say. Adding that it remains unclear whether the patients are cured. Of course, and then it gets into, actually, I got a couple more highlights here. Quote, "Very little is known about the duration of time needed to find out whether a clinical complete response to dostarlimab equates to cure," Dr. Sanoff wrote. Dr. Kimmy NG. How do you say that? Do you remember? Is it no or is it just I guess
I don't know.
No.
Is there more to it or is it just
it's literally capital NG.
I have no idea.
Dr. Kimmy, colorectal cancer expert at Harvard Medical School, told the New York Times the results were remarkable and unprecedented, but they would need to be replicated in order to establish their significance. And, the thing that's interesting is with this Dr. Sanoff quote from a moment ago, they're going to have to define what cure means of cancer, because I don't know. There are people that beat cancer, so I guess you can take that as a standard. But I don't know. There's something to this story to me that is signaling, again, a shift in medical practices in the medical institution. And it'll be interesting to watch. It'll probably require a whole reset of cancer treatment. And how's that going to go? You got all kinds of companies with supply and radiation treatment, all the things that go into the current, model of cancer treatment. I don't know, upending that and then shifting it around potentially. I guess we'll have to know, learn more from studies and stuff, but it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. Do you mean like redefining a cure in the same way they had to redefine a vaccine?
Kind of, yeah.
Because the vaccine?
And yeah, just looking at the pattern of what we've gone through in the last couple of years, just redefining words that mean things like immunity or herd immunity or, things like that. It'll be interesting to see if they actually change the definition of cured. Like cured of cancer, what does that mean? Does it mean you're in remission for a certain time? Does it mean the whole thing is gone?
Right.
What does it mean?
Okay, because you're not right now. They don't say that you're cured of cancer. They say you're in remission.
Yeah, unless you're
and then you just
this article.
You stay in remission. Right. Okay. So the very sort of paradigm of curing cancer is an entirely new paradigm, basically.
Right, and
that we've never seen or had before.
For the indie.co.uk to state those words that these patients in the study was cured, I think it's kind of a big deal. People aren't really talking about it too much, but it is a big deal.
Okay,
now, here's something interesting.
I see.
Dostarlimab is sold under the brand name Jemperli, is a monoclonal antibody used as a medication for the treatment of endometrial cancer. Dostarlimab is a programmed death receptor 1. It's a PD-1. So there you go.
with your super deep voice that I'm hearing right now, was really intense.
Really dramatic. The programmed death receptor 1.
Yeah, this is crazy. I should release my recording of you just so people know what I'm dealing with here.
And I thought you'd wonder, how to invest in Dostarlimab because, you're thinking ahead, right? The marketrealist.com has something to say. How to invest in Dostarlimab, the cancer drug with unheard of results. It goes through some of the same information here. Yeah. And at the bottom, you got to read the whole article to get to it. Who makes Dostarlimab? Dostarlimab is made by Tesaro, a company that was acquired by GlaxoSmithKline in 2019. for a total consideration of $5.1 billion. The acquisition enhanced GSK's oncology pipeline. So there you go. GSK. Just dump it all into GSK if you want to ride this dostarlimab train.
Yeah, what was GSK's most recent problem? They did some horrible thing.
Yeah, no, we reported on it too. Was it last summer? I don't remember.
It was recently. They were caught doing something horrible.
Right.
What's the word? We do GlaxoSmithKline crimes. What's the scandal? Maybe was it a scandal? Plead guilty and pay $3 billion to resolve fraud. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so they had this was back in 2012, though. Yeah, failure to report safety data. So, kind of the similar thing that Pfizer and everybody else did. They all had to, they're all just constantly lying. Let's see. They had a bribery case in China. That's nice. They had, what is this one? $750 million to resolve criminal and civil liability regarding manufacturing deficiencies at Puerto Rico plants. Okay. Yeah.
Why do all these companies have a huge history of breaking the law?
I'm telling you, man, it is not even that crazy to call these pharma companies just full-on criminal organizations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this. GlaxoSmithKline, bribery, corruption, and fraud. Had to pay another $480 million for somewhere else. This is outrageous. Forbes, even Forbes. This was back in 2012. Okay, so they're reporting on the $3 billion settlement. Yeah, you cannot find a big pharma company that is not literally just riddled with crime tumors throughout its recent history.
Yeah, well, these guys have the edge on cancer cure, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, good. That's going to be fine.
That'll be just fine for society. Yeah. So anyway, I think we should keep an eye on this stuff because, I'm sure everybody knows somebody who's been affected by cancer. It's an ugly thing,
right?
But also, the solution, right? The problem reaction solution. We might be entering a kind of solution phase of it, and that could mean giving up more freedom, privacy, whatever. More of your bodily autonomy.
Right, gotta have your vaccine passport if you want the cancer treatment.
Yeah.
Okay, well, sounds good. Should we take a look at some art?
Let's do some of the art.
It's break time.
I don't know what that was. That was weird. All right, this is our second break where we thank our producers who come in with their talent. Canary Cry News Talk is a place for therapeutic reflection of our troubling world, and we encourage all of the people listening, watching, hanging out in the chat, wherever you might be, to participate in creating something, especially if you've been blessed with talent of some kind, whether it's painting or drawing or dancing or music or the fushigi, as Basil is waiting for, or interpretive dance, whatever it may be. We encourage all of you out there to create something, share it with the show, share it with us so we can process all the troubling things together. Why is my daughter shaking the table? What's going on?
Why is my daughter shaking the table?
She's going crazy. She's just shaking the table. What's happening, honey?
We got to get a babysitter.
She doesn't feel... Yeah, it's not really working out, the babysitter situation. Not happening. Where was I? Yeah, so we're going to thank some of our producers today. Please stop shaking the table. Be nice.
And I will say this, while we do that, I have begun... hopefully it stays this way, but I have begun adding the art into the newsletter. So if you are listening to the podcast, if you're watching live, you'll see the art here in a second. But if you're just listening to the podcast, check your email inbox and you can take a look at the art alongside everything else. We'll also be posting it on our Instagram and places like that as well. So make sure to check it out.
Yep, we're going to start off with audio production.
Audio production.
This is, I don't know if it's 100% official. However, it was the only one that we had today. It's from Jonathan F.
Jonathan
F. And he sent one in and said, changed it up a bit. How many shows have you produced? And it's a streak setter, a better streak setter jingle.
How many shows have you produced?
That's fun.
Something to put in the mix there. So thank you very much, Jonathan F.
If I remember correctly, I think he made the streak setter jingle for those who get 2 in a row, because they just set their streak.
Okay.
Now, this does present a fun opportunity, because you'll get a jingle at 2 in a row, and then you'll get another one at 3 in a row. So, you start streaking, you get all sorts of jingles.
Okay, well, let me just move that into the proper sound bank on my end, so at least we got the streak setter thing queued up. But thank you very much, Jonathan F., for that, and all the audio producers that usually come in. Didn't come in today, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We're waiting on you. Next up, we got some art.
One art, please.
And as usual, we started off with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And what happened to my Allie picture? Here it is. Just got to get it up there first. Here we go. Oh, yeah, it's Gruesome Newsome there. We have a haiku by Dame Epony Blaze to go along with it. It is titled Campaign and Anguish. Re-election time. Newsom is so popular. That is what they say. He's bored, disengaged, lengthy family vacations, running from chaos, caring for homeless, counseling and therapy, desired or not. And,
sounds like Newsom's having some issues, huh?
Yeah, so this piece was in reference to an article headline, Gavin Newsom probably can't lose this fall, on Yahoo News.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. We'll just put McConaughey in there. Just, all right, just put McConaughey, just replace him, just, whatever. A couple highlights.
Got the hair.
Yeah, got the hair, got the look. A couple quotes highlighted from the article. Even if it produced little result, meeting like that would have been good theater, creating the impression Newsom cares about inflation's effects on individuals and that he's determined to help. I guess it's talking about how he could have stayed home. But to take his, I don't know what's going on here. Newsom has at least demonstrated caring and interest in this, devising a plan to the homeless, caring for the homeless, devising a plan to force thousands of the unhoused into counseling and psychotherapy, like it or not. That's condemned by some as too draconian and coercive, but no one else has much of an alternative. Interesting. Yahoo News, huh?
Yeah, I'm not understanding. They're just saying that Newsom, he doesn't care. He's not going to lose, so he's kind of taking it easy.
I guess either that or he's such a nice guy.
Nah, that's not it. If you look at this portrait that Dame Allie made, you know what's going on here. Very well done. Again, the shading of the geography of the face. This man straight up looks like a Batman villain. He's got quite the old school Joker smile with his big politician teeth and his weird lizard eyeballs. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool guy you got over there, Gonz.
Hey.
There at your California.
Hey, we just keep hitting bottom. Eventually we'll have a V-shaped recovery. We'll move back up. We'll get things rolling. But in the meantime,
you just got to get it as bad as possible. Yeah. With the way that the pendulum has been swinging politically, I mean, there was a time not that long ago that California was, majority red state. Mm-hmm. Republicans ruled California for a very long time.
Wait till the return happens. Return to the homeland. the pilgrimage back to California?
Who?
I'm just
Republicans?
Saying. And just eventually, in time. I don't know. People that left in this last thing.
I mean, one thing we do know, if a Republican became governor of California, the place would thrive. Maybe not because of the Republican, the actual things that the Republican does or the legislation or the policies or whatever. But there would just be so many people that are just like, oh, okay, Newsom's gone. We can go home. We can get back in the sunshine. We didn't realize that the sun didn't shine anywhere else in the country.
We took on the personality of our vampire leader.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Dame Alley.
Thank you, Dame Alley. Again, just brilliantly done here. All right, we got another one here from Sir Dove.
1 art piece from Dove.
Dove has a note.
Peace
for this week's NWO Fantasy League update. We've got some more promo art to hype up the league's kickoff. We see the shirtless horseman of the apocalypse signaling a first down for his offense after he intercepts a Hail Mary from the Tornadoes and takes it all the way into the red zone. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
I cannot wait to see all the creative NWO Fantasy League team names that people come up with, which reminds me to play this. Oh, it's so quiet.
Yeah.
Can you hear that at all?
I mean, we can hear it. It sounds like Blog Talk Radio days, though. Sounds like it's coming through a phone line.
I gotta fix my stuff. Anyways, New World Order Fantasy League. Thank you very much, Dove, for this promotional piece. We'll make sure it makes it on the website. Is this like a famous stance thing? Is this like a famous image?
Chiefs, yeah, the team that the parody is off of is the Chiefs with the red outfit. It's got the sickle and hammer and
calling their own first down.
Well,
it's kind of like it's like a Mark McGuire sort of calling the shot
is
type of
that
thing.
A baseball reference from the Basil? Is that a?
Oh, wow. Bro, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds days. That was the peak. You were
into sports during peak roids.
Yep.
That's why you don't like the sports ball now.
No,
it's cleaned up.
Once they took the roids out, sports means nothing to me.
Oh no! So the Chiefs have this thing, it's racist, but they do like the Chiefs, they're Indian Chiefs,
like a tomahawk
chop. Yeah. I think that's what this, and maybe this is first down as well. But some details on the helmet there. It says
you got the robotic arm and sickle.
Yeah, the robotic arm and sickle on the helmet. Also in the brand, what is that? CNYTHNK.
It's in Russian, I think.
It's in Russian, yeah. I don't know what it means, though. I'm worried.
I don't know either. We'd have to look it up. It's probably hilarious knowing Dove.
It probably is. You got the Nike symbol that's a whip.
It's the Nine Tails. It's the cat of nine tails. Yeah. We've got the shirtless horseman of the apocalypse is sort of an outline of Putin's shirtless horse picture,
holding a shirt.
It's kind of an outline silhouette, so you couldn't really tell. So in Dove's infinite creativity, he's like, how do you know this guy isn't wearing a shirt? Oh, well, we'll just make him holding a shirt off to the side.
You just assume that he's not wearing a shirt.
Fun detail, Putin here calling the shot. We've had Trump, whose number is 45, Biden, whose number is 46, and Putin's number here, calling the shot, 47th president of the United States of America. Which is pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
Oh, wow. USSA, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Let's see here. He's got his little... I was checking he's got the logo, NWO Fantasy League logo down on his little rag thing there.
Yeah, and let me do this justice for our audience here with the jingle.
It is a New World Order Fantasy League. They're all 100% eugenics, transhumanist lizards that control everything. They hate you.
Dude, I had my soundboard up for what? A total of 3 shows, and then the catastrophic technical difficulty has ruined it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not cool. Thank you, Sir Dove.
Thank you, Sir Dove. We have a couple more to go through here. This first one, or no, not the first one. I guess it's the third one. It's from Mark A. Mark A has a note. Shalom, boys. This past weekend, my family celebrated the Feast of Weeks, Shavuot, Pentecost. This feast is when Israel received the law, and also when the Spirit came down in Acts 2. That's right. I drew this while thinking of Mount Sinai. Thank God that we have someone even better than Moses to intercede for us, the Lord Jesus Christ. Hope yins like it. Mark A. Do you see the piece here?
I got lost in some other art that I'm not sure if we made it onto this show. It'll have to make it on the next one. Yep, I'm looking at it now. You got a bunch of Israelites standing in the desert. They're looking up on Mount Sinai where the pillar of fire and smoke is raging. The whole top of the mountain is ablaze. Looks very intense up there, and you've got all the Israelites looking at it. And one guy off to the side here is saying, Moses, we think you should go talk to him. Pretty funny. I
climb that long, to the tall mountain into that fiery blaze.
Looking pretty scary up there, Moses. We think you should go talk to him.
Bring your stick.
Very funny. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mark. Yeah,
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, it's great. We got one more, and it is from Eric O, and it is simply titled Alpha Gal's Art.
Yes, this is wonderful. We were talking about, of course, there's the Alpha Boys who are, we're constantly in battle with over there at the Church of Skaten. And Alpha Gal started making headlines, which is the disease, one of the tick-borne diseases that is flaring up. And Gonz, you made a wonderful connection and suggestion that Alpha Gal is not just our favorite tick-borne disease, but also a great name for, the female version of the Alpha Boys or a roller derby team. And here we go. We've got kind of a punk rock style flyer for a really. There's this picture which is from like a real old school roller derby.
Look at the crowd. A full house, a full arena.
Full house is a very popular sport. A couple of dangerous women here in roller skates, and one of them has just her hand smooshing the face of the other woman, and it's just cocking back, just
ready to swing,
getting ready. In mid swing to just full on knock this gal right in the dome, and she is not she's not very happy about that. And at the bottom it says Alpha Gals in some cool punk rock font there with their logo, which is a tick. The Alpha Gals logo is a tick. That's very good. You nailed it, Erico. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, that's all for the art. We do have a microfiction.
Microfiction time. Microfiction.
And it is by Wrong Smash.
An ominous glow emanates from a small screen oblong orb. An ominous glow emanates from a small green oblong orb on Basil's workbench. Rooster sneaks in to investigate the egg just as it cracks appear on it, spilling out holographic images of the queen that coalesce into a chick surrounding the egg.
Mama?
Was she? Did they have green shoes on too?
It's the oblong. It's the absinthe emu chick has been born.
Absinthe emu chick. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Runk Smash.
Thank you, Runk Smash. That's it. That's all the producers. That came in with their talent.
Sounds
Appreciate
good.
it.
Love it, love it, love it. And remember, all you talented folks out there, whether you're an artist or a musician, you know what? I have noticed, Gonz. So I've been pitching how to send in your art. I took it out of the end pitch and I put it into this break. And it's literally been ever since I've been doing that, has been the decline of creative producership. So I think I just have to add it back into the end pitch, but I'll do it here anyways. If you're a creative person, a musician, a magician, the fun kind, not the occult kind, an artist, a fushigi juggler, whatever you do something for the show, send it in to CanaryCry.Radio@gmail.com, and we would love to feature it on the show. It means a lot to us, and it's a nice respite here after we talk about all the spooky things. So go ahead and do that, and thank you very much to all of our talented producers.
Yep.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Space. Wanna go to space?
Yeah, do you want to go to space, Basil? Space.
Yeah, I would love to go to space.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got this story here from, hold on. Let's see. I'm sorry, I got dog crawling on me. I got a website that's not pulling up. It's from express.co.uk, and the headline is supposed to be, oh no, it's not responding. I don't know what happened to the page. You want to take it? Do you have it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
NASA launches priority plan to investigate strange domes spotted on the moon.
Ooh.
Whoa. The U.S. Space Agency is looking to investigate puzzling lunar geological features called the Gruithuisen domes. How in the world do you pronounce this? Gruithuisen. Gruithuisen? Gruithuisen domes. Gruithuisian domes. I don't know. These domes are two mysterious structures. Oh, I get it. Oh, we've got two domes on the moon, Gonz. These domes are two mysterious structures made of granite-like rock that scientists suspect are formed by silica-rich magma. These mounds have puzzled researchers, as such structures on Earth could only be created in the presence of both water and volcanic activity caused by shifting tectonic plates, neither of which exist on the moon. By leveraging its private space industry connections, NASA hopes to launch the Lunar Vulcan Imaging and Spectroscopy Explorer, Lunar VICE, which consists of a suite of 5 instruments. 2 of these will be mounted onto a stationary lander on the lunar surface, while the remaining 3 will be attached to a mobile rover. The rover will have to scale the top of one of these Gruithuisian domes within 10 Earth days in order to explore its chemical composition and understand these structures. Climb the dome, little rover! Researchers believe the Lunar VICE, along with Lunar Explorer Instrument for Space Biology Applications, LEIA, will collect data which will be vital for future missions on the moon.
Oh, LEIA. Okay. LEIA collecting data. Okay.
Yeah, Leia's going to go check out the mounds. Joel Kearns, Deputy Associate Administrator for Exploration on NASA's Science Mission Directorate, said, quote, "The 2 selected studies will address important scientific questions related to the moon. The first will study geological processes of early planetary bodies that are preserved on the moon by investigating a rare form of lunar volcanism. The second will study the effects of the moon's low gravity and radiation environment on yeast, a model organism used to understand DNA damage, response, and repair. LEIA, the second selected mission, is a small CubeSat-based device that will provide biological research on the moon, quote, which cannot be simulated or replicated with high fidelity on the Earth or International Space Station." Okay, don't know what any of that means. To deceive... The deceive.
I'm glad they didn't fix it, because I read that earlier and I was like, I hope they leave it in there, and they did. The deceive will deliver a yeast.
the deceive will deliver a yeast known as Saccharomyces cerevisiae to the surface of the moon and study how it responds to radiation and lunar gravity. Wow, they just love this yeast, huh? According to NASA, the yeast serves as an important model of human biology, particularly in the areas of genetics, cellular and molecular replication and division processes, and DNA damage response to environmental factors such as radiation. They are addressing one of the most suspicious parts of space travel, and especially the alleged moon landing, is going through the Van Allen belt. Yeah, the radiation is so high that no living thing should be able to make it through.
Except in 1969, when we flew to the moon, allegedly.
We had tinfoil.
Oh, yeah,
and
just tinfoil.
We had the tinfoil protected to everybody. But even more so, being on the moon, you don't have the protection of the magnetic field, which is supposed to, protect our bodies from getting zapped by cosmic rays and such, messing up our biology. According to the statement from the space agency, the data returned by Leia, in conjunction with previously existing data from other biological studies, could help scientists answer a decades-old question of how partial gravity and actual deep space radiation in combination influence biological processes. Let's see. There's a little bit more, but it's all kind of the same stuff.
I've always stated the whole thing with space, even given the, I'm skeptical of the whole thing, obviously, but in terms of even in the context of their own paradigm, we're not meant to be up there. We're not like built biologically to be up in quote unquote space, and so they would have to genetically change us to withstand or whatever. So I think this is just moving in that direction. Genetic biological studies, and then all of a sudden we're talking about domes.
I don't know. It's pretty important.
Come on, man. The Nephilim, the mounds and stuff here on Earth, and.
Pretty important to check out those domes,
How does NASA they randomly, these strange domes that we didn't see before? I don't know, we just didn't see them before. I don't know. We went to the moon
Gonz.
40, just 50, 67 years ago, but, we just didn't see it, but now we see it.
Just like men, they see a couple of domes and they'll do anything they need to do. Go investigate those two mysterious domes. They will travel any length. They will cross whatever radiation belt needs to be crossed. We must discover the mysteries of the Grususian domes.
Both of them.
Both of them.
It's the origin of life.
It'll take our little rover 10 days to climb one of these gigantic domes. But it is worth the time and effort. All right. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. Notably, they don't mention any of these private space companies that they're working with. This is one of the the battles between Bezos and Elon. And Bezos keeps, throwing literal temper tantrums when he doesn't get, when Blue Origin doesn't get these contracts.
Yeah.
So, it's a very strategic thing that they did here, not mentioning which company, private space company, is involved in this.
Yep.
Okay. Well, time for Antarctica.
It's cold, Basil. It's cold. Antarctica, go first.
It's a snowstorm. Antarctica. Ice scientists are penguins.
Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
Yeah, we're opening the abyss, Cody.
Timeout.com. Timeout.com, Cody. We're almost done. Quote. This is not a quote. It's a headline. The headline: a new longitudinal cruise travels from the Great Lakes to Antarctica with 33 stops in 9 countries. Again, folks, as Antarctica becomes the most important place on the Earth, not just geopolitically, but also ideologically, the Great White Desert will be the utopic home of all the social justice warriors. And now, yes, if you have tens of thousands of dollars in expendable income in this time of financial insecurity and inflation, you too can go on a cruise that has 33 stops and join the secret
9 countries,
club.
by the way, too. You got the Council of 9.
A lot of
and
countries.
This is written by Scott Snowden, the author of this article.
Okay, all right. A brand new route from Viking Cruises offers passengers the incredible opportunity to travel from Antarctica all the way. Oh, it starts in Antarctica? What? All the way up to the west coast of South America through the Panama Canal and continue northward up the east coast of the continental U.S., eventually making its way to the Great Lakes. The cruise company, which marks its 25th anniversary this year, is calling it the Longitudinal World Cruise. In essence, traveling north to south or vice versa, 2 cruises are currently planned. The first sailing Longitudinal World Cruise 1 will depart on March 2nd, 2023. Oh. And conclude on May 5th, 2023. During the 65-day trip, oh, so close, aboard the Viking Octanus. 29 ports will be visited across 9 countries on 3 continents. The trip begins in Buenos Aires, where guests will have the opportunity to explore the Argentine capital city.
So it is again.
So we got Argentina. City. Yeah, we got. That's not the gateway city, but it is gateway country. Gateway country. Yeah. Let's see here. Then, okay, so you start in Argentina, then you go to Antarctica, but this is just the beginning, it says. Only after a stopover at the southernmost continent can the journey northward begin, around Cape Horn, Chile, Peru, Ecuador, etc., etc., then all the way up to Nova Scotia and Quebec before making its way to the St. Lawrence River in Ontario. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, indeed, for the price of a deposit on an apartment, you can relax in the Nordic balcony stateroom, which has 250 square feet of living space. Holy smokes! 250 square feet, so much room for activities, Gonz. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a king-size bed, and a private bath. Alternatively, for $139,000, actually more, basically
$140,000, yeah.
140 grand. Or the price of a deposit on a house. A deposit on a house. Not sure how this guy knows how any of this works. You could enjoy the owner's suite, which has 1,238 square feet of private.
That's the size of my current apartment.
It has the size of an apartment for sure. A private garden lounge area, separate dining area, a library, wine, music collections, and more. You might think that is a tad on the pricey side, but when Time Out called to check availability, there were no places left. But fear not, there's a second trip planned for September 12th, 2023. The Longitudinal World Cruise 2 sails north to south this time aboard the identical sister ship, the Viking Polaris. This journey is a little longer, lasting 71 days, and once again visiting 33 ports across 9 countries and 3 continents. Both ships offer a maximum of 378 guests. That's a fairly small boat. So this will very much be a personalized experience. Good thing, since you'll be spending 3 months with these people, enjoying a once-in-a-lifetime trip all together. Yiker doodles, 3.5 months on a cruise, huh? What is the deposit on an apartment?
The last time I had to do anything like that, it was a couple grand.
Yeah, for a deposit?
Yeah.
Like, that's like first and last month's rent, maybe, altogether, plus a safety deposit, a couple grand.
I do live in California, so, I mean, even 2014, 2015, I think we did put down at least $1,000.
Because that is extremely inexpensive. $2,000 for a 3-month cruise is outrageously affordable. So either this person doesn't know how much it costs to put a down payment on an apartment, or hey, you can sleep down in the galley and go on this crazy cruise.
The minimum here is $45,000 per person, it says.
Oh, where are you seeing that?
Right above that little map.
Oh,
Oh
yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Unquestionably, the cruise of a lifetime for just a minimum of $45,000. Ooh, okay. So they mean purchasing an apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting like a condo rather.
Right.
Okay. Well, there you go. You got the 33 signaled in there. You've got the Antarctic stopover, which is very important. And I'm getting a read on this that it is very much like a Western Hemisphere unification.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get 33 ports from north to south. A lot of these stops are in Canada, by the way.
There's a lot in South America, too. I mean,
yeah, I mean, but you get all of South America. You know, you got Ushuaia, you got Puntas Arenas, you got
10,
Porto Castro.
And 10 stops, it looks like.
There's like 10 stops. There's 10 stops just in Canada.
Yeah.
So hope you like Canada, folks. Canada, great place.
No guns, though.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Again, connecting Antarctica to really the elite luxury leisure experience. Remember, you've got luxury accommodations available. For a place like Antarctica that is really trying to establish itself as like the new, it's almost like the new world, much how like America was the new world in its early days.
It's kind of like the second attempt at Atlantis.
Well, you think about, I think you're right. That's exactly right.
Because they tried it with the U.S., the new Atlantis.
America was supposed to be the new Atlantis. Yeah. What were the opportunities? It was resources. Mm-hmm. It was, the fact that it was so big, land. Yes, the territory was enormous. And, it was a place for rich. Yeah, a new way to imagine governance in the world. And that's the exact thing that's happening with Antarctica. And it starts with sort of this, you got to be an incredibly rich person to take any of these vacations.
This must be signaling to the Freemasons out there with deep pockets. The boomers that had got a lot of cash.
You got to do it. You got to have the money
to do it, man. The 33 stops.
Same with the settling of the U.S. Remember, it was, this was happening over hundreds of years by full-on governments.
Right.
Who could pay for a boat to go from Europe to the New World? It was all either privately funded by rich people or governments who were doing it for resource reasons. And we see the same thing happening with Antarctica, with the exception of these luxury accommodations. I think it's just another step in that whole process. Antarctica, fully getting set up as the new Atlantis for whatever the new version of the world looks like.
I'm almost thinking that the whole one world thing can't happen until Antarctica sort of declares itself to be some kind of sovereign
something before it, and it has to be something besides science. They have the scientific treaty, but that's not enough. You got like a couple hundred people living there. That's not a settled land.
Right.
There'll have to be. And hey, with the alleged climate change, it's going to be a nice balmy 72 degrees down there in Antarctica pretty soon.
That's true. Yeah, the pole shift, right? Some people are saying.
Yeah. Get a nice little pole shift in there. Get some more fossil fuels flaring up. Oh, remember, because there was that Australian, weird little Australian government project where they were sending down a bunch of people and equipment to clean up a fossil fuel spill.
Yeah.
Which was really suspicious. Like it's kind of obviously like, wait, so you're doing something else, right? Because you're not spending millions of dollars to go, clean up a tank of gas that spilled from one of your snowmobiles.
Right. That's what they tell the public.
Right.
Pay attention to the movies. There's a public story, and then they're actually going down there to retrieve. I don't know.
The Evercube.
Hitler's
personal UFO.
Yeah.
And with Argentina claiming their sovereignty through their all-female media presence there. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff going on, man. There you go. Keep an eye on it, folks. Antarctica, the new world.
Yep.
All good?
All good. Let's wrap it up. It's almost bedtime.
Oh my gosh, it keeps getting later and later. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time, but there's a whole lot of other stuff to say. Let's see here. We'll be back on Friday the 10th. Oh my gosh, the 10th of June.
Wow, that happens quick, huh?
I know. And thank you to our executive producers for making this show possible. We appreciate it so very much, especially in this uncertain time that we're all experiencing. Executive producers, Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the D-Moochers, Maureen M., Morv, Sir James, Ninth Servant of the Lion of Judah, our executive producers for today's show. Hey, folks, y'all want to join Captain Redbeard's D-Moochers ship? The D-Moochin Pirates? Well, you can become a producer of the show. The Value for Value system is the only way to ensure integrity in our news deconstruction and analysis into the future. And if this show brings any value to your life, go ahead, head on over to CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
That's right. And I want to take a second and thank a couple more of our producers here, starting with our Clippies.
Clippy on those videos.
Thanks. That's right. And thank you to Emsworth and Faye Liverin, who are our Canary Cry Clippies, our clip producers making the Canary Cry Clips channel happen. We're so grateful to them. And everybody, go enjoy their work by following the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube and or Odyssey. Y'all are the best.
Yep.
And while we're at it, our the other guys, time stampers. Yeah.
It's hard work.
That's right. Our time stampers, it's very important what they do. It goes into so much of our back end stuff. And I want to thank the time stamper for Monday, which was Jackie Yu. Thank you very much, Jackie Yu.
There was a note that came in.
Yeah, we can't start so late.
Yeah.
For the time stampers. We can't do it.
We're messing up the time stampers.
We're messing
lives.
up everything. I know. We're so sorry, time stampers. We're not going to do this anymore. We're done with the lateness. Yes, but thank you, Jackie Yu, for Monday's timestamps.
Thank you.
All right, go to CanaryCryMeetups.com.
CanaryCry Meetups. Oh, hold on. Here we go.
Canary Cry Meetup.
That's right. You want to meet Canarians in your area? Well, you can do that by going to CanaryCryMeetups.com. See if there's a meetup near you. And if there isn't, just put one on yourself. Super easy. You know, if you're eating lunch, going to a park, doing whatever you're doing, just let the rest of the Canarians know about it. And you do that by telling us about it. We'll put it on CanaryCryMeetups.com. There's only one in-person meetup scheduled right now, and that's the Canary Cry Rusbeltia meetup over there in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania on the 9th of July. There's an incorrect email on here, Gonzo.
Yeah, I saw that. I haven't had a chance to
update. We got to fix that.
Yeah.
Just so you know, you can get in contact with the Canary Cry Rusbeltia meetup. It's ethansalmons1@gmail.com. Right now it's just ethansalmons@gmail.com. ethansalmons1 at gmail.com. We'll get you in contact with that meetup. Yeah. And hey, if y'all have been threatening to put on meetups in the past, now's the time, baby. It's summertime. Let's get these meetups going. And that's it. There's also the People Zoom meetup, which happens on the third Saturday of every month. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. And there you go. Email us at CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com to put on a meetup. And we'll see you at the meetup. Bing, bang, bing, bang, 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 bang. Reviews. Go leave us reviews, folks. Do it on Apple Podcasts. It's really important that you do it, but take it from Gonz's grumpy uncle.
Oh, yeah.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family. Ugly, horrible person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, folks. We've been holding back on the ooh-woo jingle because we're supposed to, actually hit the goal to hear the ooh-woo jingle, and I haven't heard the ooh-woo jingle in a few weeks. So I don't know. Was the ooh-woo jingle luring you into leaving ratings and reviews, or what? It's obviously not working. So please go leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It's very important, and we need 5 or more a week to get those algorithms running. New people find the show all the time. I mean, it's so easy to do. It takes 2 minutes, and not only is it fun to read on the show, but also you could personally be responsible for the robots, drawing in hundreds of new listeners when we get those 5 or more reviews. So go leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Every Apple device has it, whether it's a computer, a tablet, a phone, whatever. Just search for search for Apple Podcasts. It's a little purple icon, and click on that. Search for Canary Cry News Talk. Subscribe to it and leave a rating and a review. Thank you so much. Yeah, there you go. Do that. And if you're No, we're not doing this.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, post about us on social media. But more importantly, if you're an artist, a musician, whatever you are, fushigi, dancer, send your art and your content to CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com, and we'll put it on the show, okay? There's so many artists and musicians out there who are just sitting there twiddling their thumbs, waiting for an invitation, a moment where they can change the world with their skill. Now is that moment, dear artist. Send it on in to CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com. And other than that, share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your mom. Share it with your dad. Share it with your mom's dad. And you got friends and family who are they're realizing. Now, look, we might not be in the thick of the pandemic where deception abounds and hearts are torn in two and families are destroyed by the separation of ideologies of the mainstream news turning brother against brother and mother against father and whatever. It's this weird time, and people perhaps, it's obvious that the mainstream news is a problem, but a lot of people don't know what to do about it. A lot of people I know still don't know what to do about it. And the fact of the matter is that this show was created as an answer to that, to not only just get news in a different way with honest deconstruction and analysis, but also to learn how to interact with the mainstream corporate news, how to spot their tricks, how to, to compare what they may be saying with the data that they're actually referencing, these types of things. And it's something, this media literacy is a really important aspect of living a life, a fulfilling and happy life. And so please consider being a part of the awakening in somebody else's life. Share the show with them. You can just send it to them, text it to them, send them a clip from the Clips channel, whatever. Or if you want to get a little bit more funky about it, really express your unique skills and passions, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go ahead and get yourself a robotic arm. Put it right under your shirt, sticking out where another arm might be. Maybe sticking out the back of your back, or maybe your little belly button arm. And your friends, your family, strangers on the street, they're going to say, wow, what a cool thing. And you'll say, cool? You think this is cool? And they'll say, yeah, we saw it on Marvel. We love the Avengers. We've seen all our best Avenger friends have robot arms, and I'm convinced that robot arms are good, and they're our friends, and they want to make life better for us. We love robot arms. And you say, oh, you have no idea the curse that this robotic arm has brought upon me. And then you'll just let that robotic arm just sort of cause havoc around you. You know, maybe it grabs the steering wheel as you're driving. Maybe you try to drink or eat with it. Maybe it's kind of pokes you in the face with a fork. But don't do this privately. You're going to want to do it publicly, because we need to fight the information war about the robotic arms. This is a battle for your mind, and we need to have other examples of how Flippy is here to destroy our way of life. It's not, all those other things that they're talking about. It's not wokeness. It's not, open borders. It's not, the medical industrial complex. No, it's the robotic arms. And this is something very tangible and fun that we can do to show the world. But you don't have to do it that way. You can, something about the podcast. I don't know, maybe your robotic arm grabs their phone, searches for the podcast, and starts playing it. Oh, yeah, it's a Flippy that's obsessed with the podcast. That's what it is. You love robotic arms so much. You love Marvel and robotic arms so much you think they're here to save the day. Well, here's one. Here's a robotic arm. Its only job is to steal your phone and to navigate to Canary Cry News Talk. Booyah, baby. There we go. And if you want any more instructions, we like to call it rattling cages. And here's what you do. You walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. All right, Gonz, any last words?
Thank you for being here. See you on Friday. What is it? 6 more episodes till we hit 500.
500.
Yeah.
We should probably run some sort of promotion for episode 500.
We should.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. We'll do some sort of 500 extravaganza for producership.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage. Oh, the Wikipedia idea, that was producer Laura C's idea.
Very good.
So be careful. You might need to be put in charge of it, Laura C. Watch out.
Be careful.
Also, I want to thank our social media producer who's been posting images or the art and videos and stuff on our social media, and that is Miss G Beauty.
Sorry,
So
I'm talking to the child.
Okay, that's fine. No, the whole world just gets to know that Miss G is doing our social media. So thank you very, very, very much. I'll add you into the official thank yous later. All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Bye, gold. Bye!
Children in the space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space lane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward on board. The passengers experienced 3 G's of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes, do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
cool.
Blowing stuff up,
cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship.
Serious anchor.
We have Bezos, a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything. Wives in space, children in the cosmos. With your best friend, brother, wives in the cosmos, children in the space lane.
We are headed to space.
Pay them more.
Behold, there was thunder and lightning upon the whole earth, and all the foundations began to shake. The first angel blew his trumpet, and there came hail and fire mixed with blood. It was thrown upon the earth, and a third of the earth was burned. The second angel blew his trumpet, and a great flaming mountain fell to the sea, and a third of the oceans turned to blood. The third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from heaven. It fell on the rivers and on the springs of fresh water. The name of this star is called Wormwood. Therefore, a third of the fresh water became bitter, and many perished from it. When the fourth angel blew his trumpet, a third of the sun was struck, also a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of their light may be darkened, and a third of the day may be kept from shining. When the fifth angel blew his trumpet, I saw a star fall to the earth, and he was given the key to the bottomless pit. He opened the abyss, and from it came smoke like that of a great furnace. The sky was darkened, and locusts came out from the smoke. They were told not to harm the earth, but only those who did not have the seal of God. In those days, the people will seek death, and they will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. When the sixth angel blew his trumpet, I heard a voice that said, "Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." These 4 angels, who had been reserved for this very hour, were released to kill a third of mankind. The rest of mankind still did not give up their idols, nor did they repent of their murders and sorceries. Then I saw another angel descending from heaven. He was wrapped in a cloud with a rainbow over his head. His face was like the sun, and his legs were like pillars of fire. He called out like a roaring lion, and the 7 thunders began to sound. I went to write, but a voice from heaven said to me, "Seal up what the 7 thunders have said, and do not write it down. Now go, take the scroll from the hand of the angel who stands before you." When I came to the angel, he said, "Take it and eat it. It will make your stomach bitter, but in your mouth it will be sweet as honey." So I took the scroll from the hand of the angel, and I ate it. Then they said to me, "Come, you must prophesy further concerning many peoples and nations and kings."
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.